Hello, good evening, everybody. It is the 1st of February 2019, the year of our Lord. And yes, we have a full hangout tonight, a heavyweight hangout. We have Brother Kevin, Andy, myself, Shadow, and Godsmack. Yes, Shadow and Gobsmack. I'm just checking then. I forgot. Thank you all for joining. We have watching in the room. And hello to the dog. Hello,
Yeah,
dog. Woof, woof.
down shit. Evening,
Oh, well,
everybody, brothers, sisters, everybody listening. Hope you're all right.
I'm going to migrate to the kitchen. We'll leave the ladies in the front room. There we go. Thank you, Kev. Andy Gobsmack, Shadow, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well and getting on and kicking Candy Bowen, staying in on her. That's what I'd like.
Good lad.
Yeah.
Good evening, well-being, peace and love.
That's it.
Bonjour.
Well, it is till Raf gets back.
Yes. Well, it's been a busy week. I've spoken to countless brothers and sisters throughout the week. There's been a lot of interaction. The emails. I've got documents and yes, notices and pre-formats, and yeah, it's been brilliant. A very busy week. We've been up Scotland. Had a little chat with Sister Nonna, known as on YouTube, and yeah, I've been given Rob Sprawl's number, and he's been given mine. So I'm going to make contacts hopefully over the weekend and see if we can migrate north with the sovereign love initially, and see about Glasgow, Dundee, and Edinburgh. The most amount of deaths in Europe. You know, I want to find a Klansman, and we want to find Klansmen and go up there and see if we can establish already the knowledge and the instrumentation and the way that we do things is slightly different. If you've all noticed, we get there where we want, how we want, and quickly, with minimum bloodshed, minimum tears, minimum phone calls, minimum notices. So we are in the middle of this law renaissance, and I just wanted to say that things are moving in many ways, and to thank you to all. A man called Ben needs a special thank you for the document what you sent me yesterday. My eyes have popped out my head, honestly, with what. I'm not trying to tease you. You'll get it. It's on the .com now. Document 111. For everybody else, I'll bring that to the table once I've digested the content of that. Andy's got some nice old publications of which he may take some excerpts from, and bestow upon you as he does in his true what shall we say, in his true king, with the king's hand. We'll get the king's hand on the scene. Shadow's probably going to have some reflective things to say. And we've got Brother Kevin, if he's got any updates or feedback or information from the work that he's doing, then yeah, we'll welcome that as well. So I'll hand over to anybody. I yield.
And all was quiet.
Yeah, and just feeling the vibe. That's it. Just feeling the positive vibe, and enjoying people's online company.
We could reflect upon Romley Stewart's latest video entitled Storm.
I watched that.
Wait, with his brother called Rohan, who can't get into the office of the creditor because he's being denied the creditor's certificate. I did put a comment on that video and said that I do believe it's a certain court in New South Wales, is it? So one of the documents we've got on the .com, where I think the Americas, Australia and Anglo courts would be for such remedy. After one would be notifying the Pope Francis d'Assisi, the Pope of the Papal Sees, the Papal Bulls, and certain things of which you may want to consider. But yes, go on, talk about that Storm video, Shadow, then.
Yeah, he talked about the office of creditor and the new Chicago style of manuals, the 17th edition. I saw that one, and he basically talked about how they could get his certificate, and and you saw the two certificates on the wall with the Joker and
in the creditors' office, yeah, and that's what
yeah,
they were showing you. But they were just to me, Shadow, they're just two bits of paper on the wall. I don't know for fact. Well, substance over form for one. I don't know with all certainty that that's what he's saying. That's what he's claiming. Yeah, and he seems to be the only one on YouTube with that. You know, he's the only one I've seen doing that. And his brother, when I say brother, his research long time friend. Rohan has been down the same route as Romley and as what I have, as what Smithy has, and a few others, and we've got the door slammed because you know these principals in office here, they respond to requirements and in effect orders, if you like, but we would not be ordering them, we would be requiring from them in their salaried capacity, you know, in their fiduciary capacity, whichever. So if the generals of a military, so we'd go Attorney General, Registrar General, yeah, we got Registrar General, Attorney General for the court. So we go to the generals and we'd have to have a chat with them, I'd imagine, rather than aimlessly ringing up a helpline, speaking to an uninformed, non-legal agent there who doesn't know nothing. You know, we've had I've had reports and feedback, first-hand knowledge of men that have gone since Romley's last video, that being the Gloucester channel. I mean, Justinian Deception, and we've gone into offices and we've asked questions, and I've heard the feedback from 5 men, and I've got different scenarios for each, but none of them, let me tell you, have ended up with a creditor's certificate. So you're working out for what you want, but we know how to get there directly and from whom, with what verbiage, instrumentation, and you know, going down these avenues. And that video is quite intriguing. There was more to it than what you referenced there, but that's not the point. The overall effect is long-time researcher and brother can't get that certificate. What Romley did stress is that he's kind of got some property, he's not registered it, he's noticed quite a lot of folk, and he says, you come near me, touch my property that isn't registered, there will be fines, fiends and forfeits. I did like the way he'd angled how he's established himself once he's taken his contracts and everything away. Quite interesting, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. They talk mostly about that new Chicago Style of Manuals book, really. And
yeah, but it's the 17th edition. It's just the same. It's the same text, but in a different cover.
And he mentioned he mentioned a lot to do with the certificate and the Commonwealth of Australia and the
Queen,
which was around the 20th minute of the video, and he brought it forth superbly as always. Romley's another good character. I'd love him to get him. I love him to get him on there because he just blow the show up. Yeah.
Working on it. Franco Collins, Romley Stewart. If you don't know the Australian legends that have inspired me, I'll speak for myself. But yeah, Romley Stewart, Franco Collins is very exciting there. Max Egan, spelled I-G-A-N though, but it's spelled pronounced Egan. And there's another one as well. Yeah, I forget. But Santos Bonacci. Oh, there he is.
Yes. How did you nearly forget him, Dave?
That was it. I just, having a play. I did invite Josh X on for tonight, but he's over on Sun and Moon having a chat with them. So, there's probably a lot of action over on Sun and Moon. So we kind of clashed tonight with what's happening. So the room might be low with the viewing, but they'll be back after the Sun and Moon and Josh and all of those lot, maybe, the other viewers. And that might be why it's quiet, I'm suspecting. And then that we'll put stuff down for them to pick up upon. So pick up upon. Oh, that was great.
That's easy for you to say.
Taking it down, Mikey. Yes, from the old MC days. Take it away, boys. I'm just going to carry on rolling my cigarette and listen to you for a bit.
Yeah, man. I've been on a vegan diet for the past 3 months, mate. Just had to say it.
Classic.
I thought you'd let us know about that. Thank you, love.
Yeah.
Any lovely. Come on, stay on track, Shadow. On track.
Yeah.
Law, citations, code, ecclesiastical, admiralty, instrument, debt, fear. Come on.
Promissory notes. Yes, man. Let's
That-
get on
Okay. Are we ready?
it.
Fabulous.
I've
Are
got
we ready?
mate. I'm ready to take notes. Let's go.
Let's go. The history of jurisprudence must be followed in its whole course if we are to understand how gradually and tardily society dissolved itself into the component atoms of which it is now constituted, by what insensible graduations of the relation of man to man substituted itself for the relation of the individual to his family and of families to each other. The point now to attend to is that even when the revolution had apparently quite accomplished itself, even when the magistrate had in great measure assumed the place of the pater familias, and the civil tribunal substituted itself for the domestic forum, nevertheless, the whole scheme of rights and duties administered by the judicial authorities remained shaped by the influence of the obsolete privileges and coloured in every part of their reflection. There seems little question that the devolution of the universitas juris, so strenuously insisted upon by the Roman law as the first condition of a testamentary or intestate succession, was a feature of the older form of society, which men's minds had been unable to disassociate from new, though with that newer phase it had no true or proper connection. It seems in truth that the prolongation of man's legal existence in his heir or in a group of co-heirs is neither more nor less than a characteristic of the family transferred by a fiction to the individual. Succession in corporations is necessarily universal, and the family was a corporation. Corporations never die. The decease of individual members makes no difference to the collective existence of the aggregate body, and does not in any way affect its legal incidence, its faculties, or liabilities. Now, in the idea of Roman universal succession, all these qualities of a corporation seem to have been transferred to the individual citizen. His physical death is allowed to exercise no effect on the legal position which he filled, apparently on the principle that that position is to be adjusted as closely as possible to the analogies of the family, which in its corporate character was not, of course, liable to physical extinction. Boom. Next, please.
What I got from that, constitution, substitution. What?
Hello.
And it's, I heard that shit.
That's how states were created, through a constitution.
Testation.
Constitution, substitution for what? For rights, for unalienable
Can we
rights.
say what man is here for this very day? Restitution. We are here for restoration of property. We want it back. Thank you.
Yeah.
When a Roman citizen died intestate or leaving no valid will, his descendants or kindred became his heirs according to a scale which will be presently described. The person or the class of persons who succeeded did not simply represent the deceased, but in conformity with the theory just delineated, they continued his civil life, his legal existence. How bizarre is that?
That's very Roman bizarre. Yes, that doesn't sound surprising. Remember with courts, so Andy, what we've discovered is interstate and estates in probate, and you've got pro and bate there. Yeah, two words, Latin origins. We've gone into this before. Very, testamentary, testify. Oh yeah, I love that.
Testation. That's where it is, right there.
So yeah, I like that. Very nice.
That's a nice. Thank you very much. High five.
Yes, man. Very nice.
When you go into the courtroom, you go in with if you haven't got a last will and testament, then that would tie in with how the CQVs and the way that the trust situation, the misconstruedness of it, of which I'm not going to go into again for 100th time, but that's why these are the way they are. And that's coming up to brilliant. Yeah, I like that. Explanatory of the legal status is perceived under the assumptions and presumptions of what? The Roman maxims of presumptions of law. I bid you good day. Yes, next. Come on, carry on. Read more. More encore.
The grandest function of the law of nature was discharged in giving birth to modern international law and to the modern law of war. But this part of its effects must here to be dismissed with consideration very unequal to its importance.
Very unequal to its importance.
Mm-hmm. I'll go on for a little while, but I'll give someone else a chance to talk. Over to you. I'll pull some other parts out.
Steady.
Oh, hello. Hello, love.
Go on.
I'm still here. Well, I was just going to ask Andy, do us a favour, mate. When you read the next passage out, do us a favour for an old work. Can you do it in a French accent for me? I've got a little job I'm trying to finish off here. You just helped me out there, mate.
Very nice. Right.
But well, I'll be honest, right? Romney Stewart thing, I haven't seen, so that's why I was quiet. I was enjoying Andy.
What have you got to say? Have you got any news about anything, any processes?
Well, everything is sort of not quiet. I've got one person to speak to, two people to speak to actually, because I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know. This is a bit confusing. I don't exactly know what they've done, so I've got to sort of go back through it. But they haven't had anything stopped at present, so that's always a good sign. No, really, the only major thing is I've had a go. I've done a lot of my own stuff this week. Sent a couple of letters off to Maximus and DWP, which should be interesting. An invoice to Maximus, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's really what's been going on. I'm trying to catch up on my own stuff. I say there's one more thing I've got to do, which I'm about 7 months behind on, but that's not an issue particularly. So, yeah.
You told me something interesting the other day about appeals, about the... Oh, sorry, go on.
Who was going to speak then?
Gobsmack, I think.
I was going to say, can you invite just anybody into this hangout? There's a lady.
No, anybody? No, we're not riff-raff. It depends who you want. If it's a mate of yours, if it's a brother or a sister, they're welcome.
It's the vetting process.
No, you got to be careful because you get porn bombed. Shh.
There's a lady online. She's over in Vancouver, British Columbia. She laid charges. She went to do a private. She's gone through the private and she won in a court procedure. And she's good at talking. She just came online. I don't know if she's available, but I was going to say if she's available, can you send a link to her or something? Yeah.
Andy's got it. He could forward that on. Andy could.
Okay, she's got Andy.
You want brother?
Andy, you're over in the room, yeah. So let me have a quick type with her in chat. But yeah, that's a fascinating chat. Kevin, more power to you, dude. I'm all ears on this one because this is a petty. I'm up to £1 million with my notices with the DWP, and that's just for starters.
You did before.
What was the bear for you then when you win?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Wait, he did come up with something important. That was when it comes to the appeal stages, and you get the notice, and it says that you have 30 days to appeal. We don't actually have 30 days to appeal, do we, Kev?
Oh, no. That's absolute nonsense. Actually, there's a High Court ruling. I don't know what exactly it is, but I'm pretty sure it's around 18 months. That's
Man
the
doesn't
actual
appeal. Man repeals.
Yeah, but you know, I say if you're sort of one foot in their process, if you see what I mean,
Yeah, this
uh,
is clearly the
you're
appeal
sort
step.
of playing along, if you like. One half of you is the watery half is.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. I haven't dipped my toe in the water over there, but most of me's on the land. But it's absolute nonsense, and I quote that to them now. So I've had people, you know,
They
on
can't rebut that, man, can they?
Hey,
They can't rebut that fact, can they?
no, it's exactly.
What Kevin's got going on is we have to go through this process, and this you're not all the way up to speed, Andy, with it all, but we go through. We've got a set process, and some of it is an appeal, and if they don't listen, we will go to the repeal stages. But we're on the land anchored, but we're going into the water, and we're dancing with them for a little while, and it gets us to where we want to get to fast without all the argumentation. So we've realised the conceptualisation of, can we argue for 3 months, or do we want it to happen next week? We want it to happen next week. So because of that, and the time and the severity and the food and the money and the bills and everything, the children, we've Kevin's refined an excellent process of which we may not wholly agree with, but it kicks arse. It works, and it kicks arse. Yeah.
It works in that realm if you're unfortunate enough to have to deal with that realm. You know, it's just about rules, their own, so just use them. But yeah, the appeals thing, you know, as I say, I put that in the letters now. I've had people calling me up going, "Oh, I've got 30 days and I'm down to 2 weeks." Oh, no. Don't worry about that. Because look what's happening at the moment. Any letter you send to them, signed for or not, doesn't matter. It's taking a month to get on the desk. So how can they give you 30 days to appeal? Nobody's going to see your appeal letter for 6 weeks, probably. It's ridiculous. That's how pathetic it is, you know. But I've seen a lot of letters coming back to people now. Oh, we received your letter on such and such a date, which will match up with the signed for, and it got onto this desk on this day, and it'll be at least 4 weeks later from when they received it. So that's just for them to read your letters. So forget all this timescale nonsense. They haven't got a leg to stand on, these idiots. They really haven't. But Maximus, I've had them under a accepted schedule of fees since June 17. And I've all documented. I've got witnesses to any post I've had. I've got it all documented, everything. So I've got all the proof. So, yeah, I sent them a bill for $9,000 this week. That was very nice. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. But I've written to the DWP and I've told them that as principal, if their agent fails to pay me any monies once I've completed the process, then I will hold them liable as principal.
Absolutely, and Andy the Enforcer will be round forthwith.
Yeah, I said it will. Yeah, it will be vigorously enforced.
We are. Can I just say that, not to pick on words, but we are a de-enforcement. We are a de-enforcement specialist family here. Yeah, we actually are specialists in de-enforcing the enforcement that they put on man using the force of law. We're all about peace and love here. No forcing of anything.
Oh yeah, we play nice, but we play hard.
We play with an
it's all honourable. Yeah, that's it. It's all in honour, clean hands. They can't, you know. All you're asking him to do is follow the rules and point them out.
He seeks equity, must do equity. That is, that's the point.
Absolutely. Yeah, I threw him a little bit of equity this week in the letter.
Equity won't suffer a wrong at common law level.
That's absolutely true. Equity will not suffer a wrong without a remedy. That is,
yeah.
Of course.
Right. You've mentioned something now, and I need to interject then. So can I have just 5 minutes to read something? If you need to do anything, yeah.
That'll be a first. I said only 5. That'll be a first.
Oh. Let me get on camera.
Oh, there's the teapot.
Fist bumps to Ralph. 10 gold sovereign points to that man. I've been printing. This is only. And I shit you not, this is only 10%. There's only 150 pages there out of 780. You just said equity, and I this paragraph, 5 minutes starting now. Relation of common law pleading to other systems. When you are pleading, it's about the court case scenarios. The nature and function of pleading at common law may be better understood when viewed in relationship to the other systems of procedure which developed prior to contemporaneous. Yeah, excuse me with the words because it's tiny. I'm tired and I struggle with them, especially contemporaneous. With or even subsequent to, including equity and code pleading, as well as pleading under the new federal rules of civil procedure. In order to give better perspective of the nature and function of common law pleading as a factor in Anglo-Saxon law, it may be well to consider its relation to other systems of procedure, which developed prior to contemporaneous is the word, with or even subsequent to it. These include equity and code pleading, would you believe, as well as pleading under the new federal rules of civil procedure, the relationship of which to common law pleading will now be considered. Equity pleading was the system of pleading which was developed by the courts of equity in England through the king's exercise of a portion of his judicial prerogative in cases involving matters of conscience. The key word is conscience. The king's authority was in the beginning handled through his chancellor, who was the churchman. Andy, the chancellor, he was the churchman. We've gone through this before, I know, but this is a bit more detailed. Trained in the canon or ecclesiastical law. So I hear what you're hearing here: equity, churchman, chancellor, canon, ecclesiastical law, which had its roots in the Roman law. Bring on Andy's book of all my days. The synchronicities are so massive, it's almost like they were delivered. Let me continue on. Roman law. Hence, it is not surprising to find that both systems failed to provide a jury for the trial of facts. As a result of this characteristic, certain differences between the common law and equity systems of procedure developed. I'm going to stop there. I've got so much to give you on this one. And Andy, that ties it. I think these two were meant to be together. I'm not going to tell you the title of this handbook, but document 111 on the .com for everybody that is a member of splspro.com. You can go to page 30-ish and other such. There's a Battle of Doomsday, the Doomsday book, Normandy invasion, lots to go through in there and to reiterate. So the synchronicities with you and I and the family are just so strong. I'm so excited. Andy. This year's going to be massive. Massive. Yeah.
I like to throw in a cheeky maxim, if that's okay.
I yield. I'm going to go mute. Go on, brother.
Fact negates the fiction. I got that from Romley Stewart as well. Off the tube. That was the cheeky maxim. So, I mean, oh boy, that's what I was saying.
I like your cheeky maxim, Shadow. Have you got any more?
There's the thing itself is held as a purchase. That's another one. Equity will look to do justice and not by horse. That's another one I've got. There's probably about at least 10, 15, probably more. Off the top of my head, I could name.
That's enough. It cover you on a bad day.
Equity imputes to fulfill an obligation. That's another one.
I've got while we're all here, I've got a little bit more of interesting bit to read you then of the origin of the common law forms of action, and you need to know what an action is to know what this is about, a form of action. But I'll skip that bit because you don't need to know about it because the key part is going to come here. Yeah.
You start
You
to
can
sound.
research it. You can research it. I'll bring it to you on another video. But while we're here and it's a bit quiet, the origin of the common law forms of action and the common law forms of action had their origin in the action and interaction which took place between the Chancellor and the three royal courts, King's Bench, Exchequer, and another one I can't say, CTMMON. PLEAS, Sitmon Plias, whatever, whereby individual litigants applied to the Chancery for original writs authorising one of the three courts to try a specific action. The multiplication of this process first produced the ancient real, mixed, and personal common law actions, which later were superseded by the modern common law actions. How then did the formulary system of the common law develop at the ancient and modern common law forms of action? And why is knowledge, and why is a knowledge of what was meant by the phrase forms of action essential to one who seeks to understand the law? And it goes over here. The answer to these inquiries can only be discovered and understood against the background of the Norman conquest and the statesmanship, okay, he was on a ship, of William the Conqueror, who, operating through the King's Council of Curia, Curia, researched the King's Council or Curia, yeah, if I'm saying that right, I think I am, Regis, Curia Regis, the King's writ, the King's inquest, and the doctrine of the King's peace. It did three things which left an indelible imprint upon English legal history. In the first place, he organised by system of feudal tenure, under which in legal theory at least land was held in some form under the king, which explained why the king's courts were always keenly interested in any litigation, public or private, which affected land. In the second place, he issued 1072, what is now known as the Ordinance of William the Conqueror, which separated the ecclesiastical and the common law courts. Okay? This development not only exercised a profound influence upon the procedural and substantive law of descent and distribution, wills and testaments, and probate and administration. Whoa, that's all what we're interested in, SPLs and Famalan on this hangout. But by reason of the fact it left jurisdiction over the freehold estates in the common law courts, it was largely responsible for the subsequent necessity of classifying the common law actions as real, mixed, and personal. In the third place, he established law and order through the creation of a centralized system of justice as an incident of which the common law forms of action were developed. And there's lots more to come. Oh my days. I yield. Do you like that? Do you like the sounds of that? It's history, real history. Andy, we have much work to be doing, brother. I finished. No more from the book. It's going away. Over to you.
My phone, I dropped out then, kid. I had to come back just in the room then. But I went to read a paragraph, and our man was talking over me, and I was talking over him. It just all.
Yeah, Dave, you'll need to read it again, man. Andy's just got back.
No, it's rewind. You can rewind, not fade away. Skeleton.
Don't put everyone through that again. I'll come back to that. Don't worry.
I'm not that bad. I'd like to think I've improved. Why are you all putting me down? It's my channel and my hangout, and you're all attacking me. My brothers. Come on.
Dave, listen, the devil's in the details. That's the devil's words. You just have to listen out to know where to put them.
That's right.
Oh, I am. That's why we've built the .com and we're doing what we're doing. We've done all these videos and hangouts. Much respect and love to you. Noted.
Boom. I was looking through my own book for some paragraph, but
I've got a page of a treatise on suits in chancery setting for the pleadings and practices.
Oh, nice.
And proofs.
Nice. That's good information, yeah. On the way to type.
Jurisprudence of equity. That's a big book. I've got the soft cover, but Andy, if you want, you can read a paragraph because I like listening to you.
I haven't got my book with me, mate. It's elsewhere on this landmass. It's residing at another postal code at the moment, another militant combatant address. So I only have my ancient law books with me at the moment, and I may even have to order me another one and just leave that there and have it as a gift to them. They can have it because I don't.
Is that the title of the book, just called Ancient Law?
Yes.
Yeah, mate. I'll have a look at that from.
So there you go, mate. If you want to do a paragraph from your book, mate, you carry on, mate.
All right, I'll read some as well. It's on the 6th page, and it's called "How Equity Has Followed the Law." Under the influence of principles of equity as administrated in Chancery, the rugged features of common law has grown constantly and more smooth and humane. Yeah, what was it? More smooth and humane, and its capacity to do justice, constantly increased. The evolution of law in England and in America has been lines marked out by equity until the language of Lord hailed by growth of equity on equity. The hearts of the on equity. The heart of the gauge of law. Of common law has been eaten out to show the effect of the principles and the doctrine of equity upon our own statutes. The following illustrations are cited. 1. The reference to gamble and wager contracts, the whole law of landlords, mechanics, labourers, and other liens, the law of notices through registration deeds, the pro rata distribution of insolvent estates, the appropriation of rents, the provisions for the benefit of married women, the guardianship of estates and of infants, persons of unsound minds, the allowance set off and right to sue upon a debt note or account purchases from the original creditor, the statutory remedy of the interpleader, the right to set aside the satisfaction of a judgment and the proceeding by the garnishment and the right to sale of land. And it goes to say the present common law of England is a dissimilar from that of Edward III. Is the present state society. Jacob goes into case law, and then jurisdiction was established in England in the reign of Edward III. And it's another case, Green versus Lion. Alan.
That's all right. We don't need the that's just they give you the case law for references where that was used to get some remedy, maintenance, and cure there. So I'd just like to say that Shadow, you said before that you struggle with the the language and the dynamics of it all. There, you have got your own unique dynamic, and I just want to give you a fist bump for. Personally, like I struggle with the pronunciation of the words, as we can all tell, and you struggle maybe with the pickup and the correlation to the brain from the page. So I just want to say respect to you for what you do and your study and what you've learned and where you're at. Because if anybody says to me one more time, David, it's too hard. Yeah, here's an example of it's too hard, and the man is fighting through his alleged barriers there. And furthermore, those of you that protest to me in email that your saturation points for law is 20 to 40 minutes, well, the next time you sit down before a Hollywood blockbuster of 2 to 2.5 hours and sacrifice your time there for the Hollywoodland programming, just think about my videos being too long while you sacrifice hours of your life for these people that you don't know, taking your money and programming you in ways of which are futile. So just those two things correlate together. I yield.
Yeah, well,
I was well read, dude. I learned from that. Thank you very much indeed. I learned from that because I was paying attention to what the words could be, and I was trying to think what word would fit. And you brought me to a very interesting place in the book that I mentioned last night called The Prince. That's worth the read. It talks about princes and principalities, and every time you hear the word principle and principality, that's the rules and the mechanisms behind that book.
That's exactly the whole theory of law, the whole jurisprudence of law has been built up from the principality of man, from the principles of man. The theory of a set of legal principles entitled by their intrinsic superiority to supersede the older law, very early obtained currency both in the Roman state and in England. Such a body of principles existing in any system has, in the foregoing chapters, been denominated equity, a term which, as it will presently be seen, was one, though only one, of the designations by which this agent of legal change was known to the Roman jurisconsults. The jurisprudence of the Court of Chancery, which bears the name of equity in England, could only be adequately discussed in a separate treatise. It is extremely complex in its texture and derives its materials from several heterogeneous sources. The early ecclesiastical chancellors contributed to it from the canon law many of the principles which lie deepest in its structure. The Roman law, more fertile than the canon law in rules applicable to secular disputes, was not seldom resorted by a latter generation of chancery judges, amid whose recorded dicta was often found entire texts from the Corpus Juris Civilis embedded, with their terms unaltered, though their origin is never acknowledged. Still, more recently, and particularly at the middle and during the latter half of the 18th century, the mixed systems of jurisprudence and morals constructed by the publicists of the law countries appear to have been much studied by English lawyers, and from the chancellorship of which Lord Talbot to the commencement of Lord Eldham's chancellorship, these works had considerable effect on the rulings of the courts of chancery.
yes, man.
Over to you, gobsmack.
No, dude, no. Dude, you're right. That book is fucking beautiful. No, listen, let me just be honest. Do you know what I was doing? I was sitting thinking of fucking Martin Shaw, the fucking highest court in the land, but I'm going to walk in. I just want to do this because I can and make the judge run after he's come back for the third time as the high priest of Baal, because I know the words that'll make him fucking sentence himself, never mind anything else. And I was just thinking, man, when we get this new camera technology and the right cast of characters, because I know some people in London that make movies, and
yes,
yeah,
sir.
that's the way to make a blockbuster, to teach the people, isn't it?
Yeah, man. That would fill up. That would put seats and bombs. That definitely.
Yeah, we've got access to the people, man. We just need to bring it together, unity, and make it happen, and we are, and we will.
Right. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to say hello to who's in the room. I didn't realise I was on mute then. That was funny, Ralph. You missed that one. Rewind.
Love you, dude. Carry on.
I'll say hello to who's in the room. I know some of you, Iov and that, are in here. I'm going to ask I asked if they've got any questions, and we'll say hello to shout outs and whatnot to the scribers, as they are now known. No, sir, just scribers. Right, equity. This is great what we're talking about. This is their realm and their fuckery and their bondage on us, man. I and my person are not bonded for the corporate arena. I am presently, but I'm working on a way not to be. So with that said, what Andy and I are bringing to you now is to do with the law constructs and the legal, juxtaposition of these systems. And lest we not forget, allegedly, the good book says he's an angry God and he has favourites. And you don't really want to piss this man off. And we have covenants with him, allegedly, 40 days in the wilderness, etc. And the covenants of Abraham, Moses, and Noah, all these ones. And equity, my good family, brothers and sisters, was given to all of us by the Creator. Now, we have equity and dominion on this realm. So there's lots of equities. When we speak equity and we compare and we contrast, I can see minds going, and we just need to rain down the fact that there's equity in many areas, isn't there, Andy? And we've got equity that we know of, unalienable rights and equity and dominion. And then we've got ways of explaining how all this came about in principality through the manuscripts and the codes. And then the two channels of which has now left us with the equity running alongside common law. We're all with the common law, we abide by it. But if there's a remedy where the rulings of law, maxim number 18 of the equitable maxims, I think Earl of Oxford, the supersession of equity will prevail if man knows to invoke it. So it's a superior system in law of which man can use to get away from the corpses. And it's beautiful, but there is equity in the world. The claim of right is associated to the mineral rights and the wealth of the planet, is it not? That's our claim of right. When people say, man says, David, why have we got gold? Why have we got land? And, how does it work? And where does it come from? Well, that's where, in a nutshell, Andy, over to you, fam.
Nicely dumped.
Yes. So
it ends where it started, right at the beginning. Under God,
exactly that, brother. Rock got this shit.
That's it, as simple as that. Under God alone, we are. We are here. We are now. And the equity, the estate is everything.
Yep.
State is everything we know and we can think and we can have. That's all that's to it. That's all that's to it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that.
Until
everything else is a contract.
Everything else is that. It's a tacit agreement. Until every juvenile delinquent of this landmass steps up to the age of maturity and takes back their family estate, if they even know it's available, they're going to be in perpetual trouble. It's time to stand up to the age, take responsibility, and take what's rightfully ours.
That's a principle in itself, because the whole principle of that is to own nothing and control everything.
That's what it's all about, to legally own nothing and have the beneficial right of everything. That's what you mean there, brother.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in and say tax? When a bunch of individuals walking around after they stopped killing each other and chasing dinosaurs and so forth got together, they all thought, hey, listen, if somebody expires and we've got to clean up their shit after they've gone, well, who's it fall upon if they've got no offspring in there? And they all thought, hey, let's pay this thing called tax where we'll put into a community pot to improve the community as and when we can. And that's what the first thing, that's the idea of taxation. That's the idea of the community banding together to look out for itself as a community.
Building society, like what they call themselves, building society. But they're not.
Society, Margaret Thatcher said that society doesn't exist. It's a concept, dude. It's not a reality. Everything else we are is reality. These words, no, they don't exist others outside the mind. Everything else is real. Equity acts in personam. Hey, I'm here. This is my estate. This is the planet, the realm, whatever color, shape, form, whatever it is. We're here, and we have to deal with being here right now. And it's as simple as that.
Let's put this into a simple context here. Persons have a legal title. They have legal interest. Man has equitable title, equitable interest. Whether it's intrinsic value, whatever the case may be, but that's the side of the jurisdictions right there, and that's how we would decipher which side it comes from. Equity is for man, and all the rest is for your person.
Amen. Yeah, that's right. And then when you register your baby, you will say blood clansman. Then what happens? The titles get shifted, and you go from being what you've just said. Yes, and being the man with the equitable title to being the person with the legal title of your own baby. Thank you very much. That's what registration will do for us. What? Title shift. That's what happens. So what Andy's just said is you your title shift and what Raf said about contract. Contract is law, law is contract, and no contract, no law, then no jurisdiction in David's mind. You know, that's how, and I think that, you know, I echo what you say there. That's how we see it out here now, you know, and we recognize how to interface more accurately than we ever have done. We've got the internet, these chats, and our private research and documents and books. It's an incredible time to you know, to be doing this. It really is.
Yeah, man.
Kevin's coming interfaces. Andy's going over to America. What's the channel that you've been on, Andy? Let's promote that. Raf, Andy, where's he been? What's he been doing? Can we tell us?
No, wait. Listen, guys, just hang fire on promoting anything because we're going to do this our way. You see,
that's what I was going to say, brother. I was going to leave it to you. Brother Raf has invited me onto an American radio show, and I've just turned up there and been Andy Sovereign Smith.
Well, I didn't know it was secret. No one said it was secret, and nobody pre-warned me. So I'm sorry, Raf. I didn't know. I was just doing.
No. Listen, David. Whoa. Let me, like I said, dude. I was going to take the both of you up to Llangollen. There's a meeting on there, and God willing, next month. Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. We can keep it private, and we can just talk.
No. I know, but what I'm saying is, listen. Between everybody that you know and between everybody that we know in America, we can unite this and we can do it properly. One time, live on cam. Do you get me? Simple. So we're talking about proper unity because we want to get a facility where there's a whiteboard so that people can pin words and the people watching can see on the screen what's been contributed by people to links, pictures, dates, and times because we're visual as well as hearing. Do you get me? And so we can use this as a proper teaching method because we've got enough brains and we've got enough potential to do that. Yeah. So don't advertise the venue just now because we don't want to confuse everybody that comes over and then we go somewhere else. You get me? When you lay, like Andy said, when you lay the foundations, dude, if you lay the foundations properly, then the building will not thunder or shake. Do you get me? And the rest is a question of administration. We've got the people for the administration. We've got copywriters that have worked with Oprah Winfrey, Geraldo Rivera of chart shows, talk shows. We've got people that are experienced in a lot of ways, right down to accountants. And so we're going to do this properly to make the change. Never mind us talking about it. It's time to get it done.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree, Raf, with that one. I do. We do need it.
It's got to get done. The whole thing needs to kick up the arse.
Yeah.
Not in disagreement. And this is it. We're doing it. Like I said, my kind of plan involved Andy and Dave coming up to Llangollen, which we're going to be at for a couple of days in the middle of March, out with Americans and Australians and Portuguese people arriving. So it's going to be an interesting point. It's going to be an interesting time in a nice town in the middle of March, and there'll be a lot of clever people wandering around talking to each other because there's no formal venue. We didn't set it up to speak. We just decided to arrive there and have a good meeting. And a few bunch, a few.
Yeah, that's good. Jerry's son of Mick has said, hi, listen to Andy on Gobsmack. Wonderful, Andy. The YouTube, you can't keep anything from these guys. They're very smart. They use their due diligence, Raf. And, I just thought, there are ones that are privy to the video. Yeah, we are followed and monitored very closely. You, Andy, SPLspro.com. Everybody, that was on Facebook, we've had to ditch and change quite a lot of areas of our lives to combat all of this and structure it. As you said about the foundations, reminds me of an old Masonic principle. When one is building one's castle and you've done the first layer and you've gone up and you've built layer one, maybe layer two, you'd go down to the foundations and man would take a look around the castle foundations and see if it was a sound, if it stood, a solid structure, if it was a sound, solid standing, if it had good standing, and the good standing, solid standing foundations, I know intrinsically well through, the research of these and their languages and laws. And I respect you for that. I'm very honored to be a part of anything that could enlighten or enrich or save lives and poverty and misery. And, we'll leave it at that. YouTube, thank you very much for your interest, and bonjour to Andy. They're saying well done, amazing, good to see you doing something on your Todd there. I've known you some years and I'm proud to say from the time we met, and I was in your yard and we had that chat. And you know, I'll never forget that day, brother, and the relationship that's turned into a brotherhood, and to see how you've found your way in life is it's fucking excellent, man. Respect. So,
can I just say that the maxim of the law for that would be when foundation is wrong, all is wrong. So let's make sure the foundations are absolutely solid and they can carry and bear the weight of anything that we put on top of them, because we've got a lot of souls for these foundations to carry, you know. So let's get plenty of cement, let's get the right strong aggregate. It's 7 Newton concrete we're building here, you know, and we've got the strength, we've got 50 mil rebars in there, we've got plenty of reinforcement, you know, we are the reinforcement, we are you and I, you know, as one when we come together, mate, and that's the strength, and we've got this. And Brother Gobsmack has took me over the water and making this happen for me. It's amazing. Bless you, Brother Gobsmack. I love you, brother.
yeah, big love to you.
Oh, dude, listen. We're all here together. Every single fucking soul. All of us. That's as simple as that. Yeah, we're all here as conductors, literally, of the right thing, and we're going to do this between everybody that's watching and listening. We're going to streamline this so that we don't waste time, and people will be able to put their own words to the paper, whether color, shape, pen, ink. It's a material. Well, it's not a material, but they'll be doing it for the first time in their own understanding, and so that's what we're going to achieve. And it's not complicated. We've got the technology already here, but we just need to improve it some and streamline it and get the viewerships together, because over there there's getting quite good numbers, and there's a lot of good people over that way willing to help. Even tonight when we've been on the air, we've just made another 450 quid with people.
And we're not even on the air, brother. Check that out. Look at that love and respect, man. That's God coming back to us for all that we've given free time of our learned education, and not going out to the pub, not absconding and not wavering from our path, and sitting in at night reading me bloody Bible, and it's coming back to me for it. I'll tell you something, mate, you couldn't make this shit up. This is the universe thanking us for what we're doing.
Yeah, man. Of course it is.
We've got yes, it's the law of attraction, the hermetic principles. We've brought you Enki, Thoth, Jesus, Buddha, many, the thrice great, these hermetic principles and the Hegelian dialect. We haven't even scratched upon that, but Andy is immersed in that what I would call the thought potentiality consciousness, aka the divine matrix, no less. Some call it Murphy's Law, some call it Sod's Law, and some make their own law. That man is Smithy.
May I read something to us? We have in the annals of Roman law a nearly complete history of the crumbling away of an archaic system and of the formation of the new institutions from the recombined materials. Institutions, some of which descended unimpaired to the modern world, while others destroyed or corrupted by the contact with barbarianism in the Dark Ages, had again to be recovered by mankind. When we leave this jurisprudence at the epoch of its final reconstruction by Justinian, an epoch is a time, it's a place in time or a person in time. Justinian, few traces of archaism can be discovered in any part of it except in the single article of the extensive powers still reserved to the living parent. Everywhere else, principles of convenience or of symmetry or of simplification, new principles at any rate, have usurped by authority of the jejune considerations which satisfied the conscience of ancient times. Everywhere a new morality has displaced the canons of conduct and the reasons of acquiescence which were in unison with the ancient usages, because in fact they were born of them. Whoa, check that out, mate.
That is quality, Andy. Again, man. Talks about
and then
Justinian
And then when you speak to me,
mate.
when man speaks to me and they say, Andy, where'd you get that? Why do you speak like you speak? Where do you get that verbatim from? It's because we read the correct literature. When you read the correct manuscripts that's here for life, instead of reading all the other piffle, bloody razzle and whatever else.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
chilling on Netflix and all that, Keith.
We've got a question from Ewok. He's saying, in layman's terms, what is a tort all about? And you've just said acquiescence, and that's just made me think, well.
No, well, acquiescence comes through tacit agreement, and acquiescence is acceptance. When you acquiesce, you're saying yes, but unbeknownst. And acquiescence through tacit agreement, whereas full disclosure isn't given, man can suffer a tort. And when the layman word for tort is wrong. So if you've been suffered a tort, you've been suffered a wrong. And if you bring a claim to anybody through the tort realm, well, it's simply to put a right, from that wrong. So that's what it is there. A tort is a wrong.
So, officer, you assume my name is Mr. David Jeremita and you are processing me as such. That would then suffer man a tort because I am not Mr. David Jeremita. That would be man's person. So, for officer to ignore man's rights,
yes,
is ignoring man's property. And if you ignore man's property, you are tantamount to getting in trouble. Suffering man a tort, is another way I'd say it as well.
But because that's in public, that's on the common law realm, and that comes as those maxims of presumption, assumption that come with that.
Common, they're very common.
When man knows who he is, you can evoke separate jurisdiction maxims that run in line with man and not that of the person, like we spoke of earlier. So, yeah, we'll get to grip. Everyone up to speed with it,
Andy Greggs, took me a while to get my head around equity. Yes, well said. Jerry, could we say that to
you and me both, mate.
You are, Kev?
I said you and me both on that guy when it take me a while to get my head round equity. Yep, you and me both.
Well, I've got the legal definition for acquiescence. If I can read it.
Yeah, but that's not lawful, is it?
No, right.
Ignorant silence is deemed as consent. It is not consent. So remember that, fam. Silence is deemed in their world as consent, but it actually is not consent because nobody gave an answer. Judge, can I borrow your car? Whisper it like, he didn't hear you. You take his car, you get done for theft. Well, actually, no, you were silent. I asked you. You didn't answer. I thought you said yes. I've took your Bentley. What you saying, Judge? It's mine now. So, it's deemed as consent, isn't it?
And there again, and that would bring you back to the possessory rights, because possessory rights are 9/10 of the law. You can quote these things, but you must know what you're doing, what jurisdiction you're in, and what you're looking for. It's all intent. What is your intention? What's going on here?
Yeah, well said. Well said. Yes. Jerry says, could we say that to act as a person, I am displeasing the creator? So they are trespassing by forcing you to accept to fulfill your right to provide.
Yes, they are offering you a chance to transgress. They are offering you the chance to transgress onto the border of the Canaan and speak that legalese language. But once you can see that through your third eye and see what's going on here, and hear the legalese being spaketh, man will be able to repel and dispel anything that come for you.
Yeah.
We've got a full house now. I'd like to say, Brother John Middleton, you've got a blue spanner because you're trusted, but you're not supposed to post other video links in the chat of what you're going to watch. John, you're trying to wind us up here, fella. Come on.
Come on, John.
Hello. We've got about 50 in the chat room now. I'm just going to say hello to all of the usual scribers and the new scribers that I'm seeing as well. Some new names here is coming up. So, I have creator and his channel. If you click on the comments he makes, you can go and subscribe to his channel as well. It's very busy. Fist bumps. Everybody's here we go. Contemporaneous. John Middleton, thank you. Contemporaneous. Yeah, it's not a usual word for me, I'm afraid. Coexistent, concurred, synchronous, simultaneous, or autonyms, one out of date, old fashioned. Contemporaneous. Wow. Thank you, John. Thank you very much for that. That's what I love about this shit. Just that there. The chat room is alive. It's interactive. And thank you. Yeah. One day I'll say that word.
I must stress at this point, I was extremely impressed with the chat room that I went across to the other day with Brother Raf, mate, because it's a few hundred strong and it's quite unnerving for me at some stage. But you put a question into that chat room, and lordy, the answers come back thick and quick, mate. I've never quite been a part of anything quite like it. Yeah. I advocate that we all go and have a look, get onto the Able Danger site, go and have a look, everybody, and see what's what there. And we'll bring all that and we can all collate and all share together and all stand strong together as one. Lovely jubbly.
Yeah, man. We all need to jump on that bandwagon.
Got a question from Sister
Bandwagon. Bandwagon. It's a collection. It's a collective of individual intellects around the world, and we've got men there that strip Boeing engines. We've got men there that do a whole bunch of things, and we've got men there that own wineries the size of whales, retired Marine generals, Air Force pilots, the whole caboodle. Yeah, and they're bright, they're smart, and they don't tolerate any kind of trollage below at all. Believe me, I'm honoured to have been accepted into their clique, shall we say?
Me too, brother.
These guys make shit happen, and they do it at levels that I'm not even going to mention just now. I don't even want to think them out loud.
I am blown away. That's all I will say.
Some of them get to go to the Antarctic whenever they want to. And you don't get tickets to go to Antarctica and back anytime you want, if that makes sense. And that's the caliber of the people that are behind that place. And so it's not to be, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've got a good foundation and quite a few different avenues and aspects. Trust me on that. Anyway, sorry. Yeah,
it's all right. Carry on, brother. No, carry. It's all good.
The way the now time, the way that things are happening thick and fast. It's kind of like taking me by surprise because, like I said, I was hoping for this to start around March, April time because the 1st of April is the beginning of the proper year because they changed it in 1688, 89. They stole 3 months off each end and a whole bunch of shenanigans and treaties and contracts were signed in that time. Yes. And it's non-time. It's not recorded time, if that makes sense. And if you go into the history and start looking for what happened and where in certain
places, told me most of that. Yeah. Incredible. Augustus, July, December, Sept means what? It's from Egypt. It's in the, September. And the number, it's in the sequential falling. December, DEC, comes from 10. Decimality, the word. DEC, December, is from 10. It's number 12. And it's mashup. It really is. That what Josh has found out about the possibility in the 21st of December 2019 being the 6,000 year pinnacle for the celestial planets all being in a line again with the magnetic energy and what we're doing and yeah, you're right. It does happen fast, Raf. I wish we got some notice sometimes when we went to Alderhay. Remember, we went to Alderhay and we had about 700 women that were all mothers that were concerned about Alfie and their baby. Swarm on me and Andy. Emails, Facebook messages, notifications. It was absolutely insane. And we did the best we could. We did that. But yeah, there's no warning. There's no warning at all. It just hits you. And well done, respect to whatever you do, Raf. I know, we know.
This is why I wanted to bring you to Wales. This is why I wanted to bring you to Wales because formidable people that take action. You hear what I'm saying? This is part of what I kind of envisioned way back in the early days of the SPL's pros because I know Tom. Yeah, I know. I've been to a few of the gigs and shit like that. Yeah. And I know the white hats, if you get me. Thank you, Peter of England, for that. And I've met some honourable men, and one of them that includes Jeremy Corbyn and his brother Pierce. They're men that wouldn't put their wet ink signature to the wrong words on the wrong piece of paper. And so take stock in that. There are a lot of good people in this country. I use the word people as a collective because we have to until such time as people realise what the real meaning is.
We're at ease.
So, yeah. It's looking good, man. It's looking good. The ship is ploughing along smoothly, plain sailing.
Well, we've got we've got Smith. He's in icebreaker mode. He's breaking new ice, and we're all behind him, following in the wake like that he's making. The SS Smithy icebreaker set.
Away.
Seriously, we've got Mandy here saying, I've been evicted, unlawful. The landlord says he owns my goods now. Well, they're possessions or items or private property, Mandy. Maybe not goods, but I know what you're saying. That's what they say. I say my property. So what can I do to get back? Been given runaround, loss, all own at streets. Was assaulted by police to demand remedy. Wow, she's gone through the mill there. What do you do with that one? There's a lot going off, Mandy, and someone's evicted you. They can't steal your property, is what I'll say. Yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, I tell you, there's stuff you can do. But, I mean, you're going to get the problem is getting results, isn't it? That's the hard part with them. If you just, but there's plenty you can do about it.
You're in contract.
It's quite
You're in contract. Yeah, if you owe rent, they're going to say they're keeping the goods for the debt and for the you're a month in front. So if you get into arrears, then they'll come up with all kinds of contractual ways and if you're with an agency, then I found it's quite hard to get through the agencies as well. They have barriers and the money's held by government accounts now. Your what is it called now? Your bond.
Once again, there's a whole lot of chicanery, obfuscation, and trickery. Yeah. It's all tacit agreement. There's no such thing as a contract because they don't bloody sign it. Only you do. That renders it null and void. That's an agreement, not a contract.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What we're immersed in is basically this deceitful. Yeah, basically it's a contract, but we can argue it's an agreement because it comes from a constructed agreement. But we're at ease. I'm just speaking as we are. She's got a lot of paperwork to do. Is that what you're saying, Andy?
Yes.
The paperwork precedes the man or the woman.
It certainly does, mate, because you're to stand there quiet. Your paperwork should precede you. Should you need to speak, you can always say they're just those very few words. Refer to notice or refer to paperwork, whatever you wish to do, whatever you've put forth.
Yeah.
Refer to suit. There you go. Refer to point A, whatever you are claiming.
Yep, absolutely.
You are not there to utter verbally. Allow your paperwork to proceed, man.
Yeah. And then equity action.
When your case is watertight, and we say watertight because you're on the seas of commerce, when your case is watertight, there's no need to utter anything. It will be dealt with in immediate effect because it is what it is. The facts speak for themselves. They cannot be rebutted. There you go. If you've got the claim on, you must provide the proof, you must provide the remedy, and it shall be dealt with. There you go. Know what you're doing in the first instance. That's the key here.
Yeah, and that's why the facts negate the fiction.
That's exactly. Of course they do. There's only fact or fiction, right or wrong. There's only those four elements when you go to court: right, wrong, fact, fiction. That's what you're there to eliminate: the wrongs and the fiction. You bring forth the facts and everything that's right. Perfect.
On Andy. Andy the barrister, the best, the private barrister.
No, I'm not a barrister. I'm a bar raiser. I'm here to raise the bar on them, mate, because they've got that 5-bar gate firmly closed on our asses, and I'm here to raise their bar to let man through. Let's have a stampede. Yes, lovely.
Yes, man.
We've got you have the right to silence, and silence does implicate from Ewok. Yes, you do. You do have the right to silence.
Yeah, you have the right to silence, and silence doesn't implicate. But however, in their sets of rules, silence is acquiescence. So whatever they're bestowing upon you, if you don't rebut it, it's stuck on you. It's a deed of a contract, a deed of agreement. You have to rebut their claim.
That comes the tacit taught, and there's your tacit and your taught again, isn't it? There we go.
Yeah.
That loops us back round to the previous question and comment about what is bosh. And also, there was another one about somebody being forced to use a name. Wait there. After that comment, there was hello from Sydney, Australia. Hello, Sydney, Australia. Where's that comment? After Mandy's, I think it was. Oh, I've lost it, boys. Can you see the chat room? See if there's any questions. Is it the court? Is from comment exclamation mark. Is it the court's intent to aid and abet me into using a name that is not legally or lawfully mine and is crown copyrighted?
Well, no, they're not doing any of them things. They will just simply have you in there and subrogate you and chuck you back out again and allow you to pay for it. There won't be no chicanery and trickery like he's speaking there, because if your paperwork isn't correct in the correct capacity and status, then they have no obligation to see nor hear you anyway.
So if you don't file, or what we used to call submit, well, if you don't file any paperwork in advance of the hearing, trial, case, whatever legal issue, the controversy, to clear it up, when you arrive in the de facto non de jure business place, magistrates, county or district, even up to the High Court, to be fair though, this rule would apply because they commit personage and barratry, and
barbarism, barratry, yes, battery, yes.
Yes, and they assume and they presume. So the fact is that to the comment for the comment there from comment, it does. The judge will say, "Are you Mr. Comment? Are you Mr. Menza? Are you Mr. Sovereign Smith?" And you have to answer for that, and he puts the ominous on you. Now, how you answer for that is many and various, as you have seen. So you're right. There's no force, but it is deceptive to say, isn't it? So I would say that there are parties present at the court. We are a party. David and Jeremita, Andy and Sovereign Smith are present in the courtroom today. We've accepted conditionally the charges and we are here to discharge. I am not the defendant. How can I be a name?
What?
Come on. Yes. I hope that answers
when I was in court, mate, we seen the back of that judge, and that'll do for me, mate. And to see the back of their neck is a bloody lovely thing. I'd love to have kicked him up the arse on the way out. They better be watching, mate, because we're a-coming.
Yeah, do you know what the funny thing is? As Andy said that, I was actually thinking about it. Imagine it. Left toe, right up the bum crack.
I think I'd already covered it.
No. Ewok says, let your paperwork talk for you and say nout. Nout, he says. That's obviously, he's up north there. Lads up north. He's thinking.
Yeah, that's right, mate. If your paperwork's watertight, we're now taken out, you're going to be our eat.
Aye. I'm just looking at comments again, fam.
Can I say something that I think is kind of important?
Absolutely, gobsmack.
The paperwork, due diligence, every word, fact. But the best thing and the first thing to do is to serve notice to the one that created the lie in the first place, to cut off the snake's head. Will not go to ask them for help, go to say I want to play in your game, but to cut off the snake's head by repelling it and denying it. That is by serving notice on the unum sanctum, which is the lie that created the crown that is responsible for the situation the world is in today, or the universe, because it claims to own everything. And so that's the first rebuttal. When you've got that unrebutted affidavit, because they don't and they can't reply.
Okay, brother. And can you tell us what? Can you tell the good people, please, the year of that, please, brother Raf?
1302 on the 18th of November.
There you go. Look at the wealth of information on this man, just fluently off the tongue. There, ain't it a beautiful thing?
If you send it to the Attorney General of the country, because they change, and I don't know who his name is, but if you send it to the Queen, the Vatican, and the Attorney General of the country, under notice to agent is notice to principal, your arse is covered in the highest court of honour in this in paradise, because that's where the real judgment is, and that's part of the whole mysticism. There's no remedy here. The only remedy comes from the Creator. And so if you serve that notice, then you've got clean hands, and you're not asking to play in their game, because you're telling them you know their game's corrupt and you don't want to play in it.
Yeah, you have that right to resign. It says it in the Law of Nations.
You got your thumb over the microphone or something there, son.
Oh yeah,
The Law of Nations is a fantastic book. I recommend everybody read it because in that it teaches you the secrets to writing. First person, third person, second person, twice removed. The secrets are in that.
Go on, brother. Let him have it. He's on a roll tonight, brother. Go on, then.
Oh man, my head's still busy working. It's just he mentioned the law.
Yeah, I said it says it in the Law of Nations. You can resign from a citizen has a right to, or person has the right to quit. So if you use the doctrine of notices, then you get your immunity.
Of course,
it's about being competent. It's about being competent, and if you can use their own styles back at them, especially in treaties and the teaches the way to write in the Law of Nations, it's a question of you're using it to change your jurisdiction, rebut any potential arguments that they could possibly bring, then jump back to your first person, your real person, so on and so forth. That's contained in the Law of Nations. Instead of me reading, I couldn't teach it to you, but I understand it. I understand it. I overstand it. And you just have to read that. It's a template for how to write your documentation. And when you write it straight to the highest authority, the CEO of whatever corporation it is, because it is all corporate, then you're beating them. You've destroyed all the rules of crap below that. Do you get me? It's as simple as that, guys. The Prince and the Law of Nations. 2 books that you need to read.
I'll definitely get it.
Go on.
Yeah, but I saw it on a YouTube channel called Matrix Solutions, and the geezer's name's David Williams, and that's where I got the Law of Nations from, and he talks about how the American Constitution refers to international law and how they made the state for them and not for the debtors, because he also says that a constitutional is the one who's liable to pay the debts. I was like, whoa, blown away by him as well. He's spot on with his stuff as well, because he does the American side of things as well, to do with the SECUV, trust law and torts and all that caper. And he has 2 principles that he goes by: the ones who do business with immunity and the ones who do business without immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. Hello.
Well, we're all ambassadors, we're all diplomats, we're all judges.
You better believe it. We're all sheriffs of our own land. You better believe it.
Whatever we want to be, we can be. Nothing, there's no authority.
We can be self-governing.
We are.
Yeah.
It's just that they've usurped everything by programming us for 400 fucking years using certain words put together by Bacon or Shakespeare or Spencer or whatever the fuck his name was.
Jurisprudence.
Anyway.
From early French lawyers, early French, Italian, German lawyers, and they made up that word which they called jurisprudence. The jurisprudence was a made-up thing, a theory which they called a law. The law resided under their made-up jurisdiction. It was made to be the force of law, which was made up by the government upon their persons to trespass upon the man to make a profit for the bank, which we are all collateralized to through the government registration system. Was that it nice and clear there for you?
That was absolutely nice and clear and very full. That's a word. I'm just using my imagination.
The American Constitution was ripped off from the Iraqi in Illinois, what's now the place called Illinois, the Chicago. Yeah. That's where the real swamp is, because it's all to do with the history and the formulation of America and when the real power bases and the brokers and the families went. The ones that got off the trains that fucking Harriman and Rothschilds had built through the Pacer family, the son of Louis XV, and so on and so forth. The real history, not the history that they've told you in the books.
Go on, that man. Boom.
Raf's got it in his backhand, mate.
I want to say hello.
My favourite subject's been America for a lot of years, and I now know why.
Brothers, I want to say hello to Alex, who was a sovereign from California. Keep fighting, keep up the good work. Hello, Alex. Yes, brother. Thank you. Cali,
In the
India.
meantime, I'm going down to Calais.
The
I
dance of
believe that's
Kali.
where I first met him. We've got
Um,
to see.
wait,
C6 Steve sings a song.
Thank you, Andy, for that beautiful rendition there. The Silicon Valley chips are in California. California is quite important. I've been researching California lately, everybody, family, and Cali, Michael Jackson, Dumbo, The Dance of Kali, Beyonce recently, Dance of Kali, Planet, 6,000 years, astrological things, depictions of, and yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, Alex, hello, thank you, brother. Enjoy California for all that is. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Californication. That's a good pickup on that name, by the way. If you go and have a look at that, there's some interest. That takes you off in a whole different tangent entirely.
See, while we're on the
Yeah,
other
that's right.
while we're on the other continents, I'd like to read this to us. I observe that not a few continental jurists have much difficulty in comprehending the nature of the connection between the conceptions blended in a universal succession, and there is perhaps no topic in the philosophy of jurisprudence on which their speculations, as a general rule, possess so little value.
God.
You are lovely.
You what? You what? That reminds me of an old Sheffield Knee song. You what? That should be our theme tune.
Probably
Can
not,
you?
mate, I tell you. Hey,
Wait there. Go on. Let me find it. That can't be copyright. I can't. No, it can't be. Carry on.
it's lovely, ain't it, mate?
That was just beautiful.
It's all there, everybody. Go figure. It's Sir Henry Maine and it's ancient law. I don't know if you can see on your cameras there. Sir Henry Maine, ancient law. He does many editions. I think he's up to his 10th or 12th edition. The earlier they are, the earlier the linguistics are, the phonetics. So you may need a decent dictionary with you. If you don't comprehend biblical text, you're not going to comprehend the verbatim within ancient law neither. So much of it you will, but I do advocate the fact you go and get yourself a comprehensive dictionary in order to read these early style jurisprudence books, and you'll get further with it.
And at the same time, the only book that you really do need is the 1611 King James Bible, because all the clauses and sub-clauses and tricks and traps can be rebutted and repelled by that. Because through Jesus Christ, your Christian names, you're risen from the dead.
Yes. Well,
and in 3 days he walked on water, and that's maritime admiralty. Maybe that's why he was frightened. The guys in the boat were frightened because they're all in the ship, whereas he got out and owned the water. So that's because, yeah, and there's a few other things, reading materials as well, but we'll save that. But yeah,
absolutely. See, my understanding of the KJV runs coincide with these ancient law books, and I wouldn't have nowhere near the comprehension of these other books had I not have read that one first.
Yeah.
So, with the value of the KJV behind me as well, it makes this book what it is. And with this book being written 160 years ago, and when I read to you guys off, backstage tonight before we come live, the very first sentence of this book in the very first paragraph is, "The most celebrated system of jurisprudence known to the world begins as it ends with a code."
Exactly. These things are gems. And this is what I said on the show the other night. Only the Jesuits usually get access to this kind of stuff. The Eatons, the Harrows, and all these top universities. Most of them don't even fucking read them because they're too busy doing other things instead, because they've been pre-programmed blimps too. You get me? But all these books are precious and gems because they contain the truth, the valid, vital truth that is still in existence today, never mind what they claim.
And why is that, mate? It's in existence today for that one word, principle. It's a main principle. Once man knows what the principality of law is, you cannot ever again be unbeknownst, and that's that.
Absolutely, brothers and sisters.
Standing capacity, Kevin. That's what you found out.
Yeah.
Stand.
Absolutely, very, very powerful.
Stand.
Know who you are.
That's a principle, and that's a principle, and we all need to overstand, side stand it. comprehend it. You just know who you are, not what you are.
Andy has just said something there about not being able to comprehend or to cognize certain elements of the fundamental basics of man's existence. This is like just in reality, in the legal system, in the biblical system, in the religious system, in the lawful. So you have many places of which you could play a role. You can be at work and you can be legally responsible. You can be at home as a parent. You can be, you know, out there in many forms, formal and private. At work is public, at home as a parent is private. So, you know, to cognize where you are, it does take some learning, an element of research. And with these chats, you are involved in a video, but you are passively learning by what we are talking. So you've got like an accelerated experience. So thank you to the 64 that are on the chat tonight. Bosh.
Boom. Bish
Yeah,
bash bosh.
I'm just looking at that myself. That's really nice. Thanks, everybody.
For a Friday, they're not in the
On to
pub.
people.
Kane doing the lives away. Well done.
No, I've never been a fan of on going on a Saturday and Friday night boozer. But, no, it's not for me.
I was a fan of getting smashed every night of the week and screaming at people down the internet, go on Google and tell me I'm fucking wrong.
God.
The last 20 years.
God. I
Nice
expect
to have you back, Gobby. Nice to have you back, brother. Your vibration is high and you're resonating, brother, and your light is bright. Let's have it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bring,
Respect to you, brother.
I think
the
that
way you just answered my question was like, whoa!
Exactly.
I don't get them answers in persona. That's
All the passion, mate. The last couple of nights, this last week or so, that me and Gobsmack have been doing the American talk shows on there with the sheer enormity of individuals that are involved, because obviously it's a bigger nation and things like that, and the amount of love and respect and stuff that you get back. I mean, we've started this thing just a couple of 3 days ago, and already there's like $5.5 grand in the bank for us, you know, to help us along our way. This thing is enormous. People want to know what we know, and it's imperative that we get out there in a concise, cognitive manner that everyone else can, you know, understand it all.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult realm to do that, mate, to break the legal realm is complicated anyway, and when you try and break that back down to be that of a layman and that's standing under the covenants of the Creator, mate, it can be somewhat a bumpy road for individuals, because there's a lot of looking at yourself to do. You have to look within at your own truths, and that you can't masquerade, you can't be anything but yourself, because if you can't do that, if you're going to lie to yourself, you're going to lie to all those around you, and you're going to live your life of a lie, and you can't do that, because then you can't act in equity, you know, because you're not in equity.
But this is not just for, I'd like to say at that point, this is not just for the men, the womb men of Anglo landmass, Britannia. You know, this is for the whole of the mans, the families that we consider family, that have got a birth certificate, that have got these presumptions and assumptions. You know, some of these countries aren't English, they're not, the religion, the faith is not English at all, you know, and they've been, you know, let me just say that here's the idea. Why don't we set up a hospital? And when we set this hospital up, you know, we'll issue these certificates. And when we issue these certificates, we'll issue a central clearing bank. And at this central clearing,
You've lost connectivity, Dave. Go back towards the house, brother.
Oh, he's gone down.
Oh, I'm just getting comfy, get back in my quilt, man.
What?
That's how I think, you know. I lie down in my bed and in my 2 quilts because it's cold outside. I like to be warm.
No, there's a bug in a rug. Oh, my phone's busy tonight, mate, so I've been bloody everywhere.
I just had a remembrance while I was talking to the kettle. The Pirates Code. See if you can get hold of a copy of that. That should, anybody that's got any kind of thing to say about politics, get hold of the Pirates Code. It's a true book that's out there, and that's the predecessor of the Constitution. But the real Constitution was stolen from the Indians, but that's beside the point too. But yeah, the Pirates Code is another gem, and that'll shoot down a whole bunch of political fucking strata and shit in a whole bunch of dimensions too.
And he's
no, there's people out there. There's people out there paying attention.
I absolutely love your layman vocabulary. It just so resonates with mine, mate. And I think going forward, when we go back to gobsmack, I'm going to make the little announcement that now I've shown everyone what it is and how to do it. We're just going to go along, you know.
Yeah, man, that is fantastic. How'd you go about joining the group that you and Rafa are in, Andy? What's the procedure for that?
I think they both just disappeared off, mate, by the looks of it. Was Raf? Disappeared. Oh, there's Raf.
I went to get the coffee, man. It was boiling the kettle.
No, Andy and David disappeared. I know Dave got cut off, but Andy's disappeared.
That'll be the Mossad and the fucking CIA and the fucking MI5 and 6, 7, and 8 and 9 fucking logging in bastards. Hi, guys.
Yeah, evening, everyone.
You bunch of...
Yeah. Fucking sad. Glad we're ruining your evening.
Right then, brethren.
No, well, my evening was a non-starter because of fucking I couldn't access my fucking PayPal account. I'd have been sitting here. Well, never mind. It's been like a game of Tetris since the last couple of weeks, and it's getting more real by the minute because we're going to get the technology now to really make a difference and pay for it without any question and have it go through the books and having it open in plain sight because the accounts will be on the internet every day. So that everybody that donates a cent will know exactly where it went to, who, why, when, where, and how. Get me? And that's the way that we're going to operate and the whole structure of the foundation of this thing because we've got notices and we've got words that have never been out there. Well, they have been, but they've not been read for a long time. And by the grace of God, with everybody that's within earshot and everybody that's going to read the text later, will get an understanding, overstanding of themselves and get themselves back sorted. There are some of the shows that we've been doing from people down in Cape Town. They've got 20, 30 people sitting around an iPhone having meetings, just listening to us. And these are the people that we really need to empower because they're the ones that have been really, really shafted by Cecil B. Rhodes and Milner Group and all these secret societies within secret societies. And the Masons are just fucking way down the chain of foods. Believe it. Round tables. Anyway. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm back. I need to make a cigarette now. Where's Dave? Is Dave not back?
Okay, so I've come to report I had to leave the room there. Brother Dave has just rung me on the private line. Is that a problem with his internet? His internet's gone down. Whether they've cut the street off or whatnot, but his actual hardwire to the house is not active. So to be cut off this time of night, whether they've got workmen digging the road or whatever, what else has gone on, you know, they've had the cable stolen, such as the prolific burglaries these days. But I'm not sure how it's even still live, whether it's connected on his 4G or what the crack is at the moment. I can see in the chat room that it's still live, but I don't know how it's operating that way if he hasn't got the internet connectivity.
I haven't been in touch with reality for such a long time. I forget about stuff like that, man. Do you know what I mean?
It's saying that he's just joined, so let's see what goes on here now.
Hey, oh.
Brother.
I was just enjoying that. You're talking about this tiny little country and what it's done. But
anyway, Dave, we're all going now, mate. We'll see you later on. Thanks for coming, mate.
We just saw.
Wow. We're back. I've got no house Wi-Fi, so we're on the. I've got a little backup system, as you may imagine. We have backups here about, and we'll see how long it lasts. But yeah, thank you for your patience.
No, don't worry, man. It's like I said, it's probably the services checking everybody out because we've been stepping on everybody's toes over that way for quite a while now. Yeah. You know, the email links that we're on include everybody, every CIA office across the state, every congressman, right up to the presidency twice a day. There's 12 years worth of reading there to go back and study. And there's some interesting people, especially there's a guy called David Hawkins, a beautiful, beautiful British guy. Sounds like Richard Burton when he speaks, only Richard Burton was Welsh, obviously. And he used to go around the world blowing shit up for a living. So he's an expert on a whole bunch of stuff. And from him, I learned a lot of ways to skin a cat. And one of them being through the patents office and stuff like that. Because, you know, they're always caught in the details, and we've got the details. That's why we need to make. This is why the chat room is going to be just dedicated to the law, because we go everything from 9/11 right the way back to the Titanic and all that kind of stuff over there, American history and everything. But
justification.
Yeah, the details. I am under God beneficiary, and that's the simple. When you wake up in the morning, make that your mantra. You know, that's all. I am under God beneficiary. And well, change it to a word that you can relate to, because beneficiary, they put negative connotations on that because, oh yeah, let's fuck them with their estates and give them 35 quid a week, and they're killing people by stealing them off too. That was a Carol Kaplan, fucking Tony Bluth. Yeah, that's a good one. Tony Blair's wife and her were sitting down on a Monday morning thinking, how can we take some more money out of the system? And so that's the day Atos was born.
It's all chicanery and skullduggery. It did make me laugh the other night when we was on there with Field, and he was going on about the wrongness of the foundation of the Bushes and everyone else, and he said, and Obama and his husband. I thought, and they've got that. Absolutely beautiful, I tell you, mate. Have it.
Obama and Michelle.
Yeah.
Superb, mate. But that's the wrongness. That's the level of wrongness that we're up against here. This is no small feat. This isn't a molehill here. The man's trying to get across the top of Everest together safely, with safe navigation. That's what the magnitude of this is here.
Yes, it's a huge task.
Huge task with good effort, good people, and good souls.
Take your finger off the microphone, son.
Yeah, take it out from under the two duvets.
Yeah, I said, it's a sturdy task with good people, good souls, and like-minded people.
I don't know if I'll feel all right now, knowing that you're playing tense. Can't you come outside of that bloody blanket?
Yeah, that rustling.
Oh, you be quiet.
I've got bleeding headphones on. I've got it in virtual sound. Oh, he's having a jostle.
I'm not doing
it. There, mate. Come on. Wait.
Don't mess about. Put your camera on.
Who, me?
We camera. I've put mine.
Have we got Yogi Bear in the house? What was that?
I don't know how to put my camera on. What this is? I don't know. This is my face.
Hey, bonjour.
Hello.
Always gone all show. Always got the giggles on us, boys.
You're poorly lit. You need a better crew in there, mate.
With some lights on your makeup mirror.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Andy,
You got a few you can lend him off yours.
What's that? Sorry?
Have you got a few bulbs off your makeup mirror we can send up to him? I've got a few off mine. We'll collectively send him a few.
That's not a problem. Do you need any lingerie? Did I say that out loud?
Come on. Back to the laws of nature. We'll come back to what was the naked swap shop after the show. Oh, Lord. Well, Keith Egwin swap shop, and there's our mate Kev sending in his mum's breeches.
Yeah, he wrote to me special for them.
I'd like to bring it back in line because I heard the word beneficiary.
Dave of the Clan Jeremita is speaking, and he said
we do like comedy. It is. I have put in the title there, the Sovereign Remedy and Comedy Club, because it is always a standard with us to bring humour, and it's much needed in this realm of what we bring. You know, how we bring it. You know, injustices, miscarriages of justices, as you've said, fellow men in tents, homeless, going cap in hand. Please, sir, can I have some more? When it's the actual creditor that's begging, it's. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've drafted something with a brother called Ben and a brother called Darren. I can only say so much, but this has gone to the clerk of the court of Sheffield Magistrates Court, and it says in private, without prejudice, and it's a notice of a judgment disqualification for the asking of questions against judgment. When a judge has got up and left the court in this particular case in Sheffield and abandoned the battlefield and lost the battle, this said man basically said some words and closed down the court case and discharged it as the highest authority in the court. And the clerk to the court had some commentary, of which I can't actually tell you now, which was quite funny. So certain legal manoeuvres in the game of chess have happened, and this notice of a judgment disqualification for the asking of questions against judgment has got some questions in it. And some of these questions are, who is obligated to pay, the surety or the debtor? Who is there an injured party? Was there an injured party? Who is the injured party? Because that would separate civil and criminal, crime and no crime, victim, no victim. Where is the evidence of a contract between the Crown and the living beneficiary, David, of the estate, David and Jeremita? Is the judgment lawful and legal? Non-disclosure is non-disclosure equivalent of an untrue assertion or fact? Is no disclosure a failure to volunteer information? The third party is acting under misrepresentation. Did he do so knowingly whilst not showing evidence in writing a document file? Is this an assertion of concealment when somebody stands in the court and proclaims to a judge that there's a fact there in the court, but the judge doesn't see any paperwork, evidence, there's nothing been filed, it's just on the testamentary evidence of that, representative of the corporation? Who entered a plea on behalf of, say, Mr. David Jeremita, all caps in this example case? Yeah, it wasn't me, but who entered the plea on behalf of the Mr. at the hearing got dated because, why did the sitting magistrate allow a plea to be entered on Mr. David Jeremita's behalf when it was explicitly prohibited within the statement of truth dated, X date, for argument's sake? Does the court accept the third party who entered the plea is now considered the defendant and is now responsible for all costs? I won't continue on, but the last one I'll read you is statements of counsel in brief of argument are not sufficient for summary judgment. If this is true, when it goes on, and when we've articulated, paperwork needs to proceed, man. When man wants to make a claim, you need to let somebody know, but preferably, Andy, as we've said to a few of the brothers out there and sisters, not on the telephone and get angry and vexatious and not really achieve a great deal. So there are many ways to proceed paperwork and to send notices and paperwork. I'm not giving any legal information at all. I'm just saying that in private, without prejudice, we are able to do magnificent things. We surely are.
Can I take a second? I had a question from a lovely lady called Melissa in California. The reason why the Pirates Code, it's a code, and the difference between that and the American Constitution is that in a pirate ship, when the crew got together and they didn't like the direction the captain was sailing, they didn't all sit and watch the captain drive onto the rocks. Because why? Oh, we've got a piece of paper that says you can drive the ship for 4 years. That's what your president is. That's what your president became. The Pirates Code was you could change the captain at any given time if enough of the crew got together and they voted it. You have to wait 4 years in America to change the guy that's driving the ship, the CEO of the corporation that's in America. And precedents are important in courts. And what's the first line of that book, Andy? You have something about codes?
Yes,
so that's why the Pirates Code is it's a lawful legal precedent because it existed, and they boast about it in Pirates of the Caribbean through Keith Richards pulling out the book. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of clues, and everybody that's dead, guess who they are? the zombies in the front of the ship.
That's it.
Anyway, so thank you, Melissa,
Yes,
for that
Ralph.
question. Valid question.
The most celebrated system of jurisprudence known to the world begins as it ends with a code.
Yeah.
And that's why you see all these numbers. They're all letters and numbers next to the acts and statutes, protocols, legislative rule, the force of law coming from government who invented a person and then trespassed itself against them.
Can I ask the court today what definition of person are we using?
If the coat fits, that's the way we should. When we're talking like this, because everybody out there, there are individuals that are coming into this from stage one. So whatever the coat fits, those that know, let the buyer beware. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact remains that these ecclesiastical places of business do and will acknowledge UCC codes, for instance. Then,
yes,
man can go there. Go on.
Dave,
Sorry,
excellent point you just brought.
Go on.
We are. Everybody is under federal law, whether they know it, adhere to it, care about it, or pretend or not. We're all under federal law. Okay, which is the UCC code.
And that federal is the only federal that isn't signed into a whole plethora of treaties. It is that federal law that we are under at the moment, which is under the Marshall Guide, that can change it. And this is why the world's eyes are on Trump, little does everybody know. That man has the power to change back to whichever we can revert to for the best of mankind. And this is what this is all about right here. Go do your homework. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Gobsmack's word for it, Dave's or anybody else's. Go and do your own.
I used to tell everybody back in 1999, America is an experiment in capitalism based on the two-tier Roman Senate system to get away from the crown and the duties and create the fucking empire the way it was meant to be created, so that Washington gets the body bags, London does the finance, and Rome does the Hail Marys and save everybody. Yeah, it's been busted. The plot's been busted since the ships left La Rochelle on the 12th of November, 1307. Okay, so this is nothing. This is like everybody says. This is just business, and DJT happens to be sitting in the fucking top office at the moment. But the difference is DJT has got the backing of the most reliable white hats, the men that controls the buttons that gets the tanks, the planes, and the warships moving. Does that make sense? And the cunts in the grey suits don't like it. The Rothschilds in the fucking grey suits have been running us into the dust. They don't like it. They're shitting themselves, and they are shitting themselves, believe me, on a whole bunch of different factors and levels. And that's a true story, what's really going on behind the scenes. And most people, Brexit, fucking disaster. I was telling a Freemason from Liverpool, quite a high-ranking one who's in charge of a lot of shit up there, who about this Brexit long before it even fucking hit the news, yeah? His family went to not Alderhay, but near one, where they exited his mother fucking far rapidly than he thought. And that's why he joined the wake-up movement then, if you get me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, man, carry on. That's why the real thing, it's going to be a good time and event. So if you can get to Wales, arrive, and bring a tent, bring a camper van, because most of the hotels are sold out. There's no formal venue. It's just a bunch of people wandering around a beautiful Welsh village, getting together and getting stashed. Well, in my case, anyway. So beware.
You know what? I'd love to come to Wales, get me a tent. I like fields.
Oh, you've just told you it's going to be far too cold for all that, mate. You're going to need about a 7.
I know. Listen, you come from the farthest north I come from. That's fucking paradise. You get me? Like living in Portugal.
Thank you for that a very articulate and concise interjection there. I was just...
Oh, yes, I shouldn't swear for you guys for swearing.
No, I was on about years. No.
Really
you can swear. You swear. You can express my goodness. Game of Bones and all these media outlets have more swearing and cussing. They say shit and fuck on BBC Radio 4. And really? It's all just gone upside down. You swear as much as you need to express yourself. But
say what you fucking like, Raf.
I was saying that it was your comment then before with your ears and what you said was excellent. And I was saying before you said that the courts these days, I get a few emails asking about UCC and the use of it and why and how and where. And
Avoid use. Listen, guys. Listen. This is a message to you too. Avoid UCC. Forget about it. Get yourself accommodated with you and who you are on the land before you worry about that rules, because that's the proper Monopoly rules. But there's a bigger game that you have to play with your dead person once you've told them that you're alive, and negotiate at the level.
The courts do recognise, and they will interface with UCC as well as ecclesiastical and admiralty. So these are the realms of which the domains. But let's just say like a county or a district or a magistrate, they are de facto, non de jure, non-securitized. When we say non-securitized, we mean that the bonds that they are trading with are not securitized because they are dissolved places of deceptive business. And when they have, hear me out, let me think, when they have the person's bond certificate open in the court as the access to the funds being non-securitized in a non-de jure de facto, and we walk in and express the settler position and recorrect the relationships and point out what they're doing, do you see now this is there's a lot in the mix there. There's money, there's bondage, there's presumption, there's civil, there's crimes afoot. But really, it's like, yeah, Raf, you've got it right. These are the upper echelons of the craziness. So before you go in and use that, I would suggest that you really just contemplate what we're talking about and how we say
sort your foundation out.
Yeah.
Hello, boom,
Back to
right
foundation. Back to foundation.
Yeah, baby.
Foundations have been in place for a while, guys. We just need to keep building. The foundations have been in place for a while.
Yeah, I just, I'm just saying to people that are just starting getting into this sort of thing, that's get your basics right, get those under your belt, and then start.
The next plan that I'm hoping to make, I've seen as how I'm going well ahead of plan, is hoping if I can get Romilly. I was going to send them out one of the videos with one of myself on it, and just say we could come over and have a yarn. But I'm not going to do it through Facebook type sort of style. Well, I am. I'll have to. But if we can get Romilly on as well, and if you see Max Eigen, tell him to me announce, fucking prick.
You get Romilly on their story on the channel would be phenomenal to hear, because they'll be able to give us enlightenment what's going on in their land and to educate.
Their land is the same as ours, same jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason I'm part of the Able Danger team. We met up in Bletchley Park a couple of years back. Why Bletchley Park? Because it's the birthplace of the fucking whole shebang that is the OSS. Yeah. Fucking, guys, Alan Turing, the poisoned apple, an apple, hello, no significance there, but never mind. And so that's why we met there. And there was a whole bunch of interesting people, including Max Egan. Like I said, he still owes me an ounce, so fuck him.
You couldn't make this shit up. I'll tell you something, that man and some of the stories he tells me, mate, you could not make that shit up. It's ace.
Can't make it up, man. It's reality.
Super.
Yeah,
right then, that's me, Dave. It's gone past the hour, mate. I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you all for having me. It's been amazing.
Yeah, listen, man, I need to have some conversation. You need to tell me some words on an email, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, guys, I'm going to go and have a quick chat with Andy so we can make progression. Guys, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll just stay where we are until we get a proper fucking website and everything sorted, yeah? And we'll have the technology at our fingertips in a few days. Thank you to the people that donated and everything like that, yeah? Every cent will be online for everybody to check, including the chiefs.
Before you go.
Okay. What's that, man?
What's the name of the website?
We don't know yet. We're going to agree with it, but we've got a 3-letter initial that's going to be easy because something Andy said last night or whatever. We'll have a chat about. We'll keep you updated, man. We're here anyway, innit? So take peace, love, happiness, and prosperity, and do a prayer, because with prayer we win.
Absolutely.
Thank you, boys.
Give yourselves. Give ourselves. That's what it's all about.
Great to see you, brother.
Everybody. Peace, love, prosperity.
Cheers, Raph. Cheers, Andy. All the best to you, mate.
See you later. They're off. Wow, exciting times.
It was. As they were saying about Brexit, that's taught mania, that, isn't it? Conflict of interest. Oh.
Well, will it? Bone of contention, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
just finance economy. They've devised, as I was saying before the internet got cut off, for a small country, we've devised quite a good way to conquer many continents and encompass many banks. You know, the banking sector of London is one of the strongest in the world, in the realm. And they have clearing banks in there, as I was saying, when they set the hospitals up, and the birthing certificate and the registration and the clearing banks, and then built it all up and in conjunction with it's very cunning in the language, you know, the instrumentation, the churches, the Pope, the papal bulls, the decrees. It's boat people, pirates, and codes. Yeah, they are skull and bones to be exact, and that's where they're a bit vague when they say stuff, Andy and Raf sometimes, but that's fine. They say what they want, but I'd say skull and bones is the pirate code and the Crown of
Yeah.
London. The Crown of London would be a directorate of, say, 12 to 20 bodies, men that have no religion and lots of money, and they dictate everything, as to what happens out here. Madness.
Yes, it is.
Hang
Hang on.
1 minute.
Just lost my headphones with an invading cat.
I need my other phone. 1 minute.
Oh, I think I'm back in the room. Possibly.
We'll have a look at the chat room and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
As regards to Mandy's comment earlier about all the chaos and the repossession and the goods, the property, the debt, yeah, they are agreements. It isn't a contract. All that is relevant, and you've got holding companies, and you will have a lot to deal with and a lot of paperwork, not much time, and alleged assumptions, presumptions. There's a lot to try and sort out. So I don't know how you'd fathom that out. But I hope the chat room's been kind to you and give you some ideas. And I'd go on see what groups you can find on Facebook, r.com, and these video. Yeah, we can answer.
But there's no. Don't forget, you got non-full disclosure, void ab initio with a lot of these people because they're not who they say they are. They're private firms pretending to be somebody else. So there's plenty of angles.
Yeah, there is plenty of angles and there's vulnerability and things that we can look at. And yeah, it's we can't do magic. No, man, we can't do magic. It's just this system. It doesn't have a heart. It doesn't have a soul. It's all about business. It's perpetual debt. It's a bunch of private elite men that own the Bank of England and the bonding system and print that money and lend it to government. And they dictate everything through the Bilderberg Convention and such things as, and the politics and the underwriting of the programming through the TV, media, music, and Hollywood, and the poisoning of the food that we eat. So combined with all of that, we ain't got a chance. But we're doing well.
Part of the SPV and the banknote program, but carry on, David.
No, I'm done. I'm just saying we're doing really well. We're kicking arse, but where we should be now, right now in 2019, when I was a 15, 12-year-old boy, watched Back to the Future, I thought, September 2015, I can't wait for them days. And we've surpassed that. It's Back to the Future depicted age of hoverboard and etc. We've had Tesla suppressed. We've found out archaeological finds that we cannot believe. We know that we've been lied to on many fronts. History and education and science is the three main topics there. Religion has kind of bonded us, and we've had a torrent of information put on us, and we've had to wade through gigabytes and terabytes of information from all angles of law and science and religion and etymology. We didn't know what we was getting into, and all of this, as Raf says, it is kind of hard to get and to encompass and to manage, but you just find your place and you find your area and what interests you, and you fall into it all. But we're not proud of what we're bringing, and we didn't actually do anything. All we're doing is making a place, aside of what Raf and Andy are doing on YouTube channels and American broadcasts, is opening up new avenues for what we're already doing and what we've got established. The Key Competence Foundation publication tier 1 that's gone out for free with accompanying videos, and then the portal of splspro.com, the videos on indie, and now Eye of Creator, and subsequently what we do this year looks like it's going to be quite big, to say the least. Yes, I yield.
Absolutely. Busy.
Yeah,
As I say, you can keep the game. As I say, if you've got to have your foot in the game for whatever reason, you've got to use the person for entitlements or whatever. You can have a foot in both camps, which gives you, options of, well, I'm the man, woman, but the beneficiary over here, he needs your services, so you can then step inside and use their own rules against them because they always break the rules. So you just find out what the protocols are. You guarantee. So half of you's in there fighting them on their own rules. Yeah, you're also standing apart as the flesh and blood. You can make, this has all been corrected and stuff we do. It's very powerful, very powerful.
Losing the bondage comes in many ways, in religion, in currency, in money. It comes in beliefs. It comes in fear. There's a lot of control and restrictive mechanisms of which we are falling foul to. We almost curse ourselves with this cursive language, and this technology we call money is simply a technology. It enables man in some aspects to show love, to fix something, to offer assistance, to feed someone who's starving. It's not an evil instrument. Misquotes from the Bible: the money is the root of all evil. It's actually the pursuit of money is the root of all evil. So and Jesus dying for our debts, not our sins.
The love of
money. Yeah, it's many ways we can say it, but it has, as long as it retains the same overall message. Yeah, any way you want. It's just that we've got systems here of which if we are the creditor. And right, another way of putting it, everyone, is with regards to money, the creator God, the one that gave man dominion, didn't charge anybody jack shit for the realm, for the earth, for the plants, the animals, the minerals, the gold, all of it. No one got charged anything. So why now do we have charging and taxes and everything going off? It's just insanity when you look at
it's beyond insanity when you realise what a load of old corrupt bollocks it is as well.
Oh.
Excuse my best English.
Simply put, why don't we manage money and finance and economy and everything and get AI to manage it now? Cut out this pale, stale, male, rich economy crashes and fiddler, high frequency market stock traders. Oh, it's illegal. Yes, of course it is. Yeah, and what they're doing, like such things as with the Bank of England and the obtaining of the bonds and selling and the crime that was done to man and the deceit there in order to win financially with the Bank of England. It's just we've got the information now to say, all right, we've got the AI, we've got the technology, we've got everything we need. We can still use money up until a point. Money, I would say, is a technology. And if we are all creditors under this biblical ecclesiastical divinity of the creator to man, then we're not doing anything wrong. And that's how it is, because it says it in the great book. Not that anybody's a Christian or, that you go through school. Here's another conundrum of life while we're all pondering and bouncing stuff around, or I am. You get told at school the world is round and that God made everything. And then you get told about dinosaurs. And then you get told about monkeys and the fact that man came from monkeys. And you get to go to religious education. Well, I did, and talk about these kind of things. But then they bring on later the Big Bang Theory and Darwin's theory. And so you're like, but hang on, you've actually split man's psyche now, because you told me a bit ago that there was God and a round world and dinosaurs and evolution and monkeys and came from man and everything was good. And, Darwin's theory. And then you tell me that there's a Big Bang and that it just happened by chance and that there was no creation and, what's in the Bible. And, it's still like it shatters you. And for them to do that and institutionalize it, amongst other things, it's like it's just a theory. And, that's just one of it may seem like a smaller thing, the free energy that we're missing from Tesla and such, engineers and the science that we found from Dr. Sebi and other great.
It's all from Tesla.
Yeah, the fact that Josh X comes on and says, yeah, if you remember to alkaline your body and take bicarb of soda, is that what he said? Yeah, bicarb of soda. Right, and then you will cure most of the fungicidal infections of the body, and very cheaply. 90% of all fungicidal infections, or internal and external, can be cured. Allegedly, I'm not giving medical advice, but homeopathically and medically, you will see a declination. I did with the silver water and the psoriasis that's nearly gone. It's you have to go and use your own due diligence and find out. But what we've been taught clearly is far from the truth.
Absolutely. You get state indoctrination. See, they want you to remain on their citizenship as long as it doesn't claim your estate, which already belongs to you, and they want you to work until you die when you already own it outright, and they try and they bamboozle you with junk food.
Processed crap.
Yeah. Oh, you must drink this. Oh, you must drink beer. And then you've got women putting chemicals on their face trying to find their attraction, whether it's gay or whatever. And then it's like a vicious circle repeating itself, and sometimes I feel like, whoa, too much it was, but I do comprehend it at the same time, and I try and bring this into persona to other people, and they think you're mad, or they drug it off and laugh at you when then they won't revolt because, like Andy says, at the same time, if you give a man bread and water, they will not revolt. If you get
revolt, electricity, revolt. That's electric word, isn't it? Etymological entrepreneurs. Yes, revolt. Give them bread and water and games. Give them games.
Yeah,
Football.
Yeah.
Bit of beer, bit of sex. They'll never notice what's going on. It's the style. That's what I simplified it with iPads, iPhones, sex boxes, Xboxes. That's why we have the sovereigns exiting United Kingdom. We all need to think about our position in things and how we've been placed overall over time. His story, the winner of the battle is the one. The victor has the luxury of writing history because the losers are dead. So it's only
whoa, mate, that is...
How much more can they lose? They're bleeding dead.
Yeah, so you look at the history books, who's written that? Well, there's only one that can have written it, isn't there? The winners aren't going to get yes. And so what Britain did was terrible. It was so horrific. I'm shedding a tear as I write these, historical concepts of the empire and its time in India. That's right, India. The time of the empire in India horrifies me to what I've discovered. I know you can't go back in time, but such things as what we've done hundreds of years ago are embarrassing. It's like where we're at right now. There's been a vast leap since the 1950s. I shit you not, from what I've discovered and seen and found, and that's not without YouTube. What man's technologically got in advance, how fast we've come, and now. Yes, I'm very happy to have been with you lot and talked about what we've talked about and doing what we're doing, because at least we didn't go down without a fight.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll go down in history if we get to that status as noble men, not noble persons, because persons are known as body corporates in their statutes, in the Interpretations Act, and in the Colonial Courts of Admiralty as body corporates and
corpses.
Persons. Yeah.
Corpses. Corporates, corpses.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And yes, you boys, all the subscribers, interactions, Raf, Andy, what we're doing, publications, .com, the hangouts, seminars, Wales. Oh boy, what we're doing, I don't even know myself. So we are at the mercy of this unified essence, unified commercial code, unified software. And Kev,
Play
unified
instruments as well.
Kev, are we not psychically tuned in or what? What's happening here with these synchronicities?
Oh, there's been some weirdness this week. Some real weirdness this week. Quite funny. Like within like a minute or two of thought, hello, there's the phone call from the very person, and all sorts of things. Not just me and Dave, me and my other half. Oh, lots of strange stuff going on. Yes,
Yeah.
it's been an intriguing week.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, what it is like Kev will think of me or I'll think of him, and one of us will ring at that time, and we've said, "Well, that's hey oh," and then whilst we're both on the phone, we'll mention somebody else's name, and then I'll have a call waiting, and it will be that person we just mentioned a minute ago, and I'll say, "Kev, guess what?" Twice in this week, two of those occasions, and me and Kev connecting, yeah, and then others externally. So
Yeah,
the
it's quite funny.
yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, the little branches all coming off the one main road. Yeah, all interconnecting. It's brilliant.
Enjoy the ride.
Sorry, I keep turning my mic off because I'm outside and it's quite cold.
That's why I'm wrapped up in
It's not helping my COPD. Cold air doesn't do my breathing much good, so I keep bursting at the coughing. So excuse me if I keep turning the mic off. I don't want to keep coughing over everybody else.
We've got that's fine. Thank you, Kev. You're so considerate. Your consideration is endless. It knows no limits.
I try. Oh, hello.
From the dark side. And we've got a scriber in the room called Rawl Rexoris on about their religion is starting a new monetary. Stop it. Help me. Didn't put it on. Let me put it on vibrate. There we go. Ral Rexons is on about how their religion that they've got or starting a new monetary system to combat this. It's each man's decision what religion and what deity, what God to try to give some kind of, a semblance to with your soul and spirit and offerings and doings and tidings and etc. So you have the temporal realm, the temporal realm, and you have the spiritual realm. So whilst you are in the, this is to you mostly that Ral Rexorus, you can't come into our chat and start trying to spout money and religion and going against everything that we might be putting into debate here, because you're entitled to do what you want, and I would never judge you or tell you, neither would anyone in here, but we have our rights and opinions about bondage and religions and the faiths and the gods and the ultimate being of man. So I respect what you're saying, but thank you for your input. And they just seem to be quite forceful, and it's saying debt helps the economy. It doesn't. I don't know if no one is sovereign in a society. We are all subject to one another to some degree. Only completely isolated hermits may rightfully claim sovereignty, or so it seems to me. So I'm suspicious of this user, and we will remain with true dignity. But no, because we'll answer that. They've made a claim that no one is sovereign, and they've put in a society we are all subjects to one another. So key word there for RAL is society. We've mentioned societies and what they contain, the law society, for instance, and the bar and the London Temple. We are not brotherhood of man is not a society. We each have equality, because equality is paramount, is it not, Shadow?
Yep, absolutely.
so
we're all equal under the law.
Yeah.
We're all equal under the law, and we all have rights.
We're all subject. Key word. So we're all subject to law. We're not subject to one another, Ral. So again, we are not in a society, and we are not subject to one another. We're subject to the codings, if you like, not the manuscripts, but the covenant between man and God and towards another man. So it's my rights end where yours begin, Ral. So there you go. That's that bit answered and out the way. Only completely isolated hermits may rightfully claim sovereignty. Well, you're calling us all completely isolated hermits there. The Blue Man Group will be looking after you from this point on. I think I've identified Ral as a lesser spotted angry man. Sorry, Ral, for this. I do hope you lose whatever it is from insulting and vexatious comments and things, but we've risen above fighting and anger, and it gets us nowhere. So I just thought I'd argumentatively, constructively, for the first time ever on TV, it seems, and I enjoyed that. Thank you all. Hermits. That's called getting into character, everybody. I've just gone on and acted then. That wasn't really me. That was what's called my alter ego, Indiglow. And I used to get into character a bit in my time DJing and having alter egos and stage names and whatever. So I like to get into character and perform for the stage there because it's the whole world is a stage. And we like
Absolutely.
to get into character. There was a situation, a present there, and I couldn't help it, to be honest. I didn't want to get angry. I didn't want to lower myself.
Remain in honour and against violence.
Yeah, and they say, well, okay, fine. That's it. That's how we do it. That's how we roll, because I am you, you are me. You're clearly programmed, and your program or your ethos, your methodology, your all of that is something different to ours, or you're just learning. So that's what we do. That's what we excel at. Equality and diffusing stuff, really. Like a solicitor's paid to sell their services, and they are committed to the law society, and they're not allowed to, like the barristers, damage the crown. Whereas we're not in that society, and we aren't committed to any disposition or contract with the bar or the Temple of London or the judges. So we can go in there and we aim to damage that crown. Which crown? There's three, but we'll get one of them. We'll damage it. We'll make it We'll make it earn its money. So that's how we roll. And thank you all for the help.
We'll put forth our claim and this we'll put forth our claim and then just discharge any allegations they've got against us to remain in honour and getting the beneficiary and staying in the private and saving the people from the fraud and the deception. That's how I see it, because people have not been taught this, and if you read the Silent Wars for Quiet Weapons, they want everyone vexatious. They want everyone to split down the middle.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, fighting.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the one killer for them. If everybody comes together, it really is.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's Oversville. Simple as that. It's over.
Yeah,
Kill them with the love. We killed them with the love, and then that's the worst way for them to go, because they see it doesn't. Opportunities like road rage. There's no need for us to do what we do when there's things I see in Birmingham, Anglo Birmingham, and surrounding areas of Birmingham, and all postcodes that I go around. It's horrendous. It is at rush hour. It's the desperation and the craziness and the fear of snow. Oh
my God. Not snow.
Like
especially our snow. It's just apparently it's the worst snow in the world.
It's minus 40 in some places. Hungary.
Oh, God's sake.
There and snowy, and they manage, they live, they get about, and nobody starves, and not so much the deaths that we get with a few inches of snow and how much of a calamity it is. I just hope we don't get snow and Brexit at the same time. Wow. It's next.
No, we got enough. We got enough snowflakes as it is.
No in talk claims left, right, and centre.
It's enough snowflakes around as it is. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I just want to wrap up with the chat room. Then we're going, because I've grafted all week, so I've done too much painting of and walls and square meters. It's like probably 250 square meters of damp clean, and sanitised and bonded and then painted up. It's tower blocks, masonettes, upstairs, over baths, behind cupboards. It's going like this. It's just, it's been such a week. I pushed myself too hard. I'm an idiot for that, but yeah, I'm going to relax now this weekend. That's what's in store for me. I'll look after Anne-Marie and Yanka and do some relaxing, boys.
Absolutely, mate.
I've uploaded the .com.
Get to it.
We've got some files on the .com, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm just having a quiet one. Anne's got some time off, so it'll just be chilled. But yeah, that'll be me for the weekend, really.
More studying and possibly go out for a walk. That'll be me as well. Just walk, read, stick to my reading diet.
There's always reading. Or watching something.
Right, if the judge chat room, all right, excellent. It's very busy. Sorry, I can't. I'm struggling to keep up. My tiny mince pies. But I've caught up with your chat room capers about judges leaving courtrooms and then coming back in. So if the judge does abandon the battlefield and then he returns, then you might want to ask the question, what jurisdiction does the court lie in at present or at the moment or something? What is the jurisdiction does the court lie in the minute at the present, and then
because he switched it.
Canons, ecclesiastical, maritime, UCC, what? Does not, there's a lot going off in here. You're all pretty much bang on. I can't. Can you see the chat room, lads?
I can see some of it. Yes.
Jones is in the house. Hello to Jonesy. Menza, ignorance of the law. John, Nonna, Indigo. What's that? Of the Skies clan. Audu.
Oh look, Blues man.
Go on.
Right, Craig. How you doing? Albert.
Enlightened veggie fam.
Jesus, how are you, mate? Who else is in there? Roll, hello, mate. England, absolutely. That's where we are. Most of us.
United Kingdom is not a landmass, no.
No, it's a foreign offshore bankrupt corporation.
Once it's also offshore, it can never come back. Yeah.
Also, City of London. So, yeah, that had nothing to do with those pricks.
Also on Company's House with the uppercase text known as Dog Latin.
Yes.
Doesn't really
American Sign Language.
Yeah, that's the one.
American Sign Language, it's written in.
It's on your banknotes as well. It says, well, it presumably says, I promise to pay the bearer. Of £10, where the 10 doesn't have any reminiscence with the EN. So what is an ounce?
Yes.
As well. It's another scam.
It's just mad.
Somebody, Martin of the Connolly clan, is saying, David, you will have to pay £10 travel into Brum each day when the congestion charge comes in. I'll be like, well, that won't be against me, that'll be against my driver, and a charge can be discharged. And when man knows how the correct charging system and discharging and transfer by endorsement should and does effectively work in the private, you see, the office of the creditor only operates in the private. The office of the debtor operates in the public. Similar to what Andy said right at the beginning of this video, when he mentioned something about equity and titles and persons and mans. Yes, I remember all. I may look tiny, but it's true. So the charges and persons in discharging and that would be against the driver, not me. And if I'm operating in a commercial capacity, I can levy and discharge and effect them effectively and not pay with a sweat equity. If I'm travelling, then again, I'd be in a private, and that would be a public charge for a congestion. So I'd argue that I'd be exemplified from that. Indemnification, exemplification identity number, something like that, EIN, exemplification identification number, I believe I was discussing. EINs.
I think that would be the national insurance number. That he said,
Go on then.
because he said exemption number, for example.
That's what I've just said. Yeah, exemption identification number, EIN. And you're saying employee. Oh, it's amazing that how the mind works, isn't it? How we both see that differently. Yeah. Which one is it though? Is it employee identification number or is it exemplification number? I've said before, A for V, transfer for discharge. The research that we found um, is that I forgot what I'm on about. Wow, I'm that tired. Is that the national insurance number is used in that text at the 45-degree angle on the endorsement of the back for the A for V, and it contains the insurance number for the person, which is actually the IMF issued employee insurance number, but we would call it the exemplification number. So it does actually indemnify and exemplify you from charges if you use that account correctly, as in the office of the creditor. So I just loosely got that back in. I need to end this hangout because I'm quite tired, fam.
Davey wants his rubber duck and his quilt.
What was that?
He wants his. I was being nice. I said, David wants his rubber duck and his quilt and his big frosty pillow.
Bless all the chat room. How many we got now? Then a good 50 odd or something. So thank you all. Very busy.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Jamie, guys, Jerry, Jamie Oliver, Jerry. Nice to see you all guys in there. Great seeing
Josh X on. Me and Kev will be back. We'll get Josh X on and we'll have some
Josh, there's a comment in there. He was in the room.
When's your next hangout, David? When you doing your next hangout after this one?
I don't know. It'll be with Josh. I want to go etymological. I think me and Josh, if we get in the right, because he said he used to do rap, and I'm like, no way, because if we can get words like what did we say? Substitutional, constitutional, restitutional, slaves down in Babylon, and get some keywords flowing to bars, and I put some music to it. I think we could reprogram the youth the man them, shotting out there on Pond Street and get them listening to some actual real homegrown Anglo, talent of which we could encourage them to come off the street and come off what they're doing and actually invest some time on these Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, The Voice, Sex Factor. Everyone wants to sing their way out of responsibility, it seems. So let's give them something to sing about then, So with him, Josh, that could be potential.
Who wants to be sovereign and away from the system? Who wants to
be sovereign? Who wants to be? We're all sovereign. We're born. Yeah. You're born. You're birthed, aren't you? When you're birthed or when you're born under contractions, you are crowned. You're crowned right there. Crowned as king.
Yeah.
You're crowned as king and you'll be given rights. And you can use international law if you want, because they're for your benefit.
Jermaine, hello. Sorry to interrupt. Just noticed somebody in the room. Just needed to say hello to before we shut down. Sorry, mate.
Somebody's got a question just as we're about to sign off. Comment. Okay, out of honour. The question, it's a bit deep. I've lost it. If I sign off, if your signature is your sign of nature, I would think it would be a sin if I signed for the all caps name, the full name. What do you think? Yeah, that you've just basically agreed with yourself there, as far as I see it. You would be a fool if you signed for the full name. Oh, they're doing etymological links, as in FULL, because you shouldn't be playing that when I'm tired, but and then FOOL, full, the full name. Is that your full name? I didn't notice that one. Well done, kudos for the comment, and kudos to me to get it, because I'm tired, and that was quite a link. Fool to fool, a little light went, oi, idiot, listen, fool. Is that your full name, Kevin? Kudos to that. I'm glad I got that just before right at the end. Look, everyone says good hangout, Jonesy. Right, guys, good night. I'm a lightweight. Yes, so am I. Menza used to live in Brum. Good people. Thank you, Menza. Albert's in the house. Martin, yeah. I've said everybody else. Then Jerry Menza. I can't see it. It's not letting me scroll up. Alex over there in across the pond. Thank you all. Peace, love, and light. Let's want to shut this down. Have you got anything you want to close with, boys, before we end?
No, just thanks everybody for popping in and staying around. Really enjoyed it. Hope you have, and we'll probably catch up in the next few days again, I expect.
Yeah, man.
I'm having a break at weekend, a bit of admin.
Yeah.
Let's have a rest and beat. Let's get some, see what happens. Get our heads together. We get away up to Scotland. Obviously, Wales now. Then we're going on the north, east, southwest. It looks like a bit of a tour might be in store for us in a few months, the forthcoming months, and so
West Coast sounds like you're doing the West Coast.
Yeah, we've made a request to go up to Scotland anyway and see what's happening with the horrific figures that are coming out with the most deaths in Europe being up that way from such things ending in diazepam, I believe.
Yeah.
We need to look at that. Got a lot to do, but yeah, thank you all. And
why is it concentrated up there so much?
I don't know. Many reasons.
Anyway, let's not talk about that now.
No. Good Lord. Thank you all. Much love.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Shadow.
Peace and love to everyone.
Peace out and good night, everybody, and have a safe sleep. Safe sleep.
Shadow, good to speak to you again, mate. Yeah, catch up with you soon, mate.
You too, Kevin.
Cheers, Dave. All the best, brother. I've no doubt we'll catch up tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be there somewhere at the point. Yeah, nice one.
All right, no worries. Excellent stuff. Good night, all.
All right, brother. See you later. Peace out. Stay sovereign. Let's go.